Who taught you how to do this stuff?
You, all right? I learned it by watching you.
I'm dying to see what America's going to do to this. I'll use my favorite word again, clusterfuck, 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 clusterfuck.
To confuse the public about science, to confuse scientists about science.
It's a trap!
It actually is a trap.
It's a trap!
We would prefer to not have kids on the continuum of risk, if at all possible. But we recognize that's not possible because kids are kids, and there's many, many, many reasons why they choose to do different types of things. I started saying that, we wish, at least from the FDA's perspective, that kids were not entering into the continuum of harm, but once they're there, how do we care for them? And, our messaging is prevention based. And so we're trying, we certainly acknowledge that teens are teens and that they are experimenters. If we get asked a specific question by a teen, either a direct message to us or via social media about the relative harms of vaping versus cigarettes, we try to be as clear as possible that if your comparator is a cigarette, vaping is less harmful. But vaping alone, especially if you've never been a cigarette user, vaping alone is not benign. And so we try to give them that frame of reference. And what I would say is kids are incredibly smart. I'm sure both of these gentlemen, see that. And they have a crap detector a mile wide. Like if we were to message proactively to teens that vaping is not as harmful as smoking, there are people on both sides of that argument, right? Mm-hmm. One is you could just give them the facts and let them make the decisions. The other side of the argument is then you're getting rid of all the protective factors and you're kind of giving them license to use. And so, we have not tried to tackle that directly in any of our proactive messaging. But when we get questions specifically in social or direct message, that's when we have that one-on-one dialogue.
Right.
Well, hello and welcome back. It's actually me that welcome back. I missed you guys while I was gone, but I had to go do the family thing and got to hang out with my mom and my brother and all sorts of family that I didn't even want to. Nah, I did want to see them. But anyway, I'm back. Kevin's here in the chat, in the back room, and in the chat. And there's Nick Orlando is over in the in the Rumble chat, as I can see. Mallory was actually the first person again. She loves being first. Then Hunky came in, and then James from Down Under was here, and Raj. Let's see. Peggy, my friend Peggy is here, and Skip is here. Lots of people are showing up. Michael Redfern. So Steve is actually here too. We're here. We got stuff to talk about. We're gonna have a little fun. We're gonna get on some Twitter stuff, and then later on we're going to talk about some other stuff that we can only talk about on Rumble, and there's some spicy stuff over there as well. But I'm glad you're here, and go tell all your friends. Today, let me go ahead. Let me play Kevin's little pointy video, and then I'll bring him in.
Oh yeah, I'm getting fancy now, people.
You got a green fingernail on your.
It's green, it's blue, it's red. It's just.
Look at it. You got a fancy pointer. So Kevin, did you see that earlier today at 12 and at 1 o'clock, we restreamed the best show that we've ever produced for this show. Yeah, the best episode.
I retweeted you like after you put it on, but yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't catch it.
But I'm so glad I was actually on the road and could listen and see if anybody who was watching and so forth and so on all of the different places. It was, I had to upload it separately to Rumble, so it wasn't streamed. It wasn't included in the all the others all at the same. But it was uploaded and broadcast or released all at the same time today. So that was awesome. I thought that was pretty fun. And we might be doing. I might be chopping some shows up and doing that in the future. That was good. I got to say hello to people in the chat room that were watching, and some of the names of the people that were watching were not names that I recognize. So that's good that we were able to bring up that old content and have some fun with it.
Yeah.
But how was your last 2 weeks, Kevin? You didn't have to put up with me for 2 whole weeks.
It was really good. I didn't have to put up with you for 2 whole weeks. So
I know that.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah, that was.
What else would you need to know?
That was enjoyable on your part, I guess.
So did you get ostracized, or you were welcomed?
Oh, I was welcome. I mean, my brother. I mean, not to be ugly, but my brother is 4 years older than me.
Well, that's old, yeah.
And neither one of us are small fellas. I mean, both of us are pretty big boys. But I did enjoy the fact. Now, this is ugly, like I said, that my brother was lost most of his hair.
Okay.
He's trying to save it as much of it as possible. So he's doing doing some things
Futile.
to try to make it less apparent that his hair is gone. There's that, and I was just so happy. But he vapes.
Are you happy he's losing his hair?
I am kind of happy that he's losing his hair.
Good Lord. Oh, that's so sad.
But he does vape, and he has this favorite liquid that he can't find. And he lives in Florida, so I was able to text because I know who used to distro this liquid, and I don't, but it's currently not listed on that particular distributor's website anymore. But I was able to reach out to my friend Nick, who was able to give me the names of 2 vape shops in my brother's area that used to carry it and may still carry it. So I was able to throw around my vape fame, Yeah.
By the way, Peg. Oh, it's getting blurry.
Oh, she sent you a Nautilus GT.
No, I'm looking for a Nautilus. I'm actually looking for like 3 of them for Jam. She broke her next to last one, and I don't like that. So,
is that a Nautilus GT though that you're holding up?
Yeah, just her box, her newest one she opened.
I think I have one of those here. I can probably just clean it up and send it to you because I'm not using it.
I wouldn't have remembered what it was because I don't use it.
It was blurry when you held it up, but I did recognize the shape of it.
She. Is that better?
Well, it's still blurry as hell.
Blurry as hell. She likes it. So whatever that is, she likes it. It's easier for her.
If that's what Mama likes, I'm sure we can track some down. But I know I have at least one.
I'll get them from
here, and I probably still have the box that it came in. So I can throw that in the ultrasonic and send it to you. I got your address.
Pikachu.
I do have something to send you anyway. This is for everyone. This is for Kevin. Kevin already knows, but I did receive an update from Addy. He sent me a box with 3 custom K funds, one for me, one for you, and one for Charlie. And I've already got Charlie's address, and I already have your address. So now that I'm back from vacation, I will be sending those to you guys. Even though you will probably never use a K fund because it's rebuildable, he sent it to me to send to you, so I'm going to send it to you.
Gotcha.
But in his letter, he said that he's still working on some things for himself, but he's okay, and good to hear from him to make just making sure that he's safe and out, doing what he needs to do for himself.
Eddie, we all need to do that sometimes.
Yeah. Mental health.
Sometimes you disappear, and it's for your own good, and it's for your best.
It's for other people's good sometimes.
on occasion, but no, sometimes we've had this discussion before.
Yeah.
At times I was, especially in the first couple of years, I was so pissed off that I almost cussed. And I thought, you know what? I just got to walk away from Twitter because it's pissing me off so bad. And now I don't give two shits. I just do what I do and I keep going. Yeah. But yeah, you got, if you think you need a break, take one. Yeah. Don't apologize for it.
I was just glad to hear from him and to make sure that he's still alive and well. That was
yes.
Yeah,
Jake, I forget his handle. Jake hasn't been on in a while either. I was worried about him the other day.
Yeah. But I was just, so anyway, expect that sometime in the next little while. I got to go and get, I think I have some flat rate boxes here, actually. I might have to look. But yeah, that was good to have. I haven't built it. He sent it with a coil in it, but it's one of those fancy triple flipping back dragon sort of things that I don't use, but
fancy,
fancy metal coil. You still got to put cotton in it, Kevin. But
you know what? You know what? Give that to somebody that'll use it. I appreciate it, but
I can put cotton in it for you and send it to you.
Well, yeah, but then I won't go from there.
Or we could.
I'm old.
It's yours, so you tell me what to do with it, and I will do it.
I do have a friend that may use it.
Well, then let me send it to you.
We'll do it that way.
Give it to them.
Yeah, we'll do it that way.
Yeah,
way more advanced.
I want to honor his wishes. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Charlie said the same thing. He said, he uses pods, and I said, well, you can put it on a shelf and display it for your friends because he did put a custom finish on it, so it's kind of bronzed. It looks really cool. So
I may do that then because I have a display case I'm getting ready to put up in here.
It is a one of a kind. Mine looks different than yours, and Charlie's looks different than mine.
Oh, nobody's getting it then.
They're all unique and cool.
You probably didn't have to tell me that, but if you wouldn't have told me, I'd have said no.
But yeah, I
okay. Don't put no cotton.
I will. They are works of art. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
So you can display it. So that's what I told Charlie when I reached out to Charlie, and he gave me his address. That's trust right there. Even though he doesn't like us, but he still trusted me with his address.
Yeah, well, he's got the FBI on speed dial.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So we didn't do a show last week, but you did send a link.
I did. Yeah, I did.
Early on.
I forget.
I'm gonna rub it here. I got
before the monkey's going to be here at 7:15 in the morning, so don't be fucking around.
Well, actually, we don't have as many things as normal, so
I forgot what I said.
We should be able to finish by 2 a.m. at the latest, Kevin.
Did you hear me, Michelle? I missed you too, or Mallory. I missed you too. What did I send you? I forget.
It says
birthday last
what low-income smokers have learned from public health, pedagogy, and narrative inquiry.
Before, just humor me. Did you already read this first?
I did not read this, but this is from 2022.
Okay, I will let you go do your thing, and then I will give you my momentary stupidity.
So it says here under the objectives, this is the abstract for this much longer paper.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's about what low-income smokers have learned from the public health campaign against, tobacco and nicotine. Under the objectives, it says health advocates have been working to educate the public about the harms of smoking for more than 50 years. Recently, smoking rates have reduced more slowly among people with low incomes, and the purpose of this study was to evaluate what low-income smokers may have learned from a lifetime of exposure to public health education and how this knowledge may be translated into smoking-related behaviors. So I did not read any of this, Kevin. So I'm going to say that what smokers learned over the last 50 years is that their opinions mean nothing to public health.
Bam. God, I hate being exactly like you sometimes, but fuck, you're right.
I mean, that would be,
that's pretty much what I want. Yeah.
The message that I would assume that smokers have learned from being talked down to, being
stigmatized, and
being
taxed,
stigmatized, demonized, taxed, punished for having, for making a choice that they
ostracized,
all of these things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm gonna skip down here. Well, it says here the methods we used: narrative inquiry and elicit interview techniques. Interviews were recorded, transcribed, verbatim, coded, and organized into themes using the constant comparative method. Now, again, Kevin, this is objective data. Right. This is this is subjective data. This is the data this is opinion. You're interviewing people and asking them questions, and they are giving you their opinions. Now, how do you quantify, code, label, organize, and compare opinions?
Feelings.
So already I have a problem with this. But anyway, it says the results were all the participants were aware of smoking-related harms to health, but negative experiences with quitting, cessation medications, and healthcare professionals contributed to avoiding or rejecting educational messages. So again, you're being foisted. You have all these crappy people yelling to you about quitting. You have failed quit attempts because the cessation medications that are foisted upon you by the healthcare professionals who have no sympathy with you at all. They, again, demean, deride, say derogatory things. I'm just, people who smoke because you're stupid for smoking and we're going to talk down to you. So again, negative experiences because they're not being met where they are, Kevin.
It's a thing, isn't it?
We repeatedly love to use that because it's true. But anyway, participants' perceptions of hypocritical societal tobacco control policies also led some to believe that the harms of tobacco use were exaggerated and were being used to control or manipulate them. This contributed to a distrust of the government, public health advocates, and healthcare providers. Again, Kevin, these people have done nothing to change the perception of the people they're supposedly caring for, because again, the negative comments, the judgmental expressions, and being talked to like you're an idiot does tend to create a negative experience and not really build an area of trust where people can meet.
Relationship.
Yeah. So my wife is currently in nurse practitioner school, Kevin.
Yep.
And they have she's doing it all online. So one of the things the online tools that they use is a system called Shadow Health. And essentially you are playing yourself as a nurse practitioner. It's and you ask the computer it's all done over the microphone and camera. You ask questions to a fictional patient in the computer to interview the patient to get the answers that you need to help diagnose them. And at the end, you get a score. Yeah. And whether you ask the correct questions that you needed to ask, because they won't tell you what you need to ask.
Right.
But when you go to see the doctor's going to ask you, well, what's going on? How you feel? Blah, 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 blah. When did these symptoms start? Are you taking any medicine? Yada, 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 And you actually get scored based because there's an option there to empathize with the patient, to sympathize with.
What?
And if you don't like put in the appropriate number of, oh, that sucks, I really hope that we can help you. Sort of comments you get based on you get a score on your empathy.
Ooh, that's different.
So
for nurses, not for doctors, though.
Well,
right?
Nurse practitioner. A lot of times people don't even see the doctor anymore when they go to the doctor. But I thought it was hilarious because yes, my wife has never gotten a perfect score on the empathy.
Well, she's married to you, so I feel bad for her.
But it's just, it's just the fact that the computer is now, these students are now being instructed on, even if you don't care, here's how you fake it.
Yep.
Yeah. I just thought that was funny. But anyway, so it's here. Conclusions, Kevin, was that low-income smokers were aware of the harms of smoking and that quitting would improve their health. Public health advocates should considering developing messages that attempt to foster trust in healthcare professionals and are consistent with low-income adult smokers' quitting experiences.
Yeah.
So essentially what we said, quit talking down to them.
There you go.
Quit talking to them like they're idiots. Maybe be a little bit more empathic with their situation. So
be engaged.
Smoking is hard, and sometimes the tools that we have to help you are really not as successful as we would like. And sure, there are other ways to quit, and if you have to try to vape to do it, that's better than smoking.
So what you're saying is
doctors won't do that.
You have to be engaged. You have to be compassionate. You have to listen.
Yeah.
You have to have a communication and conversation with the patient. Wait, go back up to the top and look at the name just for fun. Or you don't have to put it back on, but did you see who wrote it?
I will reshare it. I have another one later on, Kevin, that's really going to stun you, but I'll wait until. So it's Jonathan Folds. Is that the name that you're trying to?
He's on the Carl Phillips list. It's sometimes good, sometimes bad, but it surprised me that he participated in this. But anyway.
Oh, but on Twitter, sometimes he's an asshat, and then sometimes he's not.
Right.
But it does seem that he is aware of what the problem is, Kevin.
He's clearly aware. Clearly.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
But as far as that goes, he's really not the worst of the worst.
He's not Carl. No, by no means.
The worst of the worst.
I actually threatened
has an attitude problem.
I threatened to do a thread on that. I forget who I said it underneath, and I thought, you know what? I'm already out of breath. Leave me be. I'll leave everybody else alone.
Carl is clearly in love with himself. And
extremely intelligent. He is. I got to give you that.
Extremely aware that he's fairly intelligent.
He knows he's better than us.
To know that he knows that he's smart.
Right. Yeah.
But that could be said about a lot of people.
True.
But here, Kevin. You'll love this. This is
health
advocates are warning parents about the dangers of vaping.
Oh, thank goodness.
14% of high school students actually report using e-cigarettes.
So nearly 14% in school students self-report that they're vaping.
Well, that anecdotal thing is pretty popular now.
But you can only use those, self-reporting and personal experiences when it tells the story that you want to tell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Keep Michigan Kids Tobacco-Free Alliance is warning of the popularity of vaping devices. The alliance says the tobacco industry is targeting kids with flavored products.
The tobacco industry is targeting kids with flavored vaping products, Kevin.
That's right.
Can anyone, show of hands, can anyone name a single big tobacco flavored product?
No. Not yet.
Anyone?
Bueller?
Bueller, anyone. You can't name one because Big Tobacco doesn't produce any flavored vaping products.
No.
And haven't in a very well. Blue was the only one. Yes, tobacco flavored. Because again,
well,
they actually don't like. I mean, you can extract tobacco flavor from tobacco, but they don't. It's an artificial
Patrick,
flavor.
I guarantee you, 10 of us will say we're using tobacco flavor, and not one of them will be the same. Guaranteed.
I'm actually not this time, Kevin.
You're not what?
I'm not vaping a tobacco flavor right now.
If you were, then play along.
I'm
if you were.
I'm vaping the green stuff. Look at that empty bottle of the green stuff, Kevin.
And 10 of us were in the room, and we all were, let's pretend. None of us would have the same flavor. And all of us would try it and go, that ain't the, I don't like that.
Speaking of flavored products, though, Kevin, our friends at Five Ponds just sent me an email.
Yeah.
That they have a special edition version of their Grandmaster, which is a peanut butter sort of vape thing. I have some of here somewhere of the normal version, but this is a special edition version with some custard in it and some cognac, and you should go to their website, or if you wait until Monday, Peggy will have it at Vape Cats, and you can get it there. I cannot put links in the chat room or on the screen. I'm just telling you that there are websites that you can, Five Ponds has a website. And
I'd show you my pen, but it'll go blurry.
Special edition.
I love those pens.
I bought 5 bottles of the special edition peanut butter or Grandmaster myself today. So yes, if you wait until like Monday or Tuesday, Peggy will have it on her website. But anyway, yeah, no Big Tobacco. These people do interviews, or they speak to the press, and the press just regurgitates their nonsense without any verification at all. Because again, they're claiming that Big Tobacco is coming after your kids with flavored vaping products.
Yes.
And by their definition of flavored, none of those companies that they're pointing the finger at produce a flavored vaping product.
Could you for the class explain the part where they say they're protecting the children? Then, what could you define the word protection in their?
There's no protection. They're protecting children against a non-existent thing.
You fucking motherfuckers.
I mean, there are plenty of real life things that that they should be protecting children from.
Right.
I can think of a bunch of things: school teachers, groomers, all sorts of dangerous things out in the world. Like I that you can really protect kids.
Lots.
But Big Tobacco flavored vaping products is not really one of the things that needs to be worried about because it doesn't exist.
No.
Yeah, let's keep going.
Products, but kids aren't heeding the warnings about how addictive they can be. The assistant principal at Fenton High School says aside from the health risks, the devices can also contribute to poor academic performance.
But aside from the health issues, e-cigarettes and vapes, also we've seen a correlation with
correlation, Kevin. This woman is so stupid.
Wait.
She doesn't know the difference between correlation and causation.
Oh, damn.
Why is your thing is all blurry? I don't know what's going on, Kevin.
Correlation virus.
You've got your virtual background on or something, and the lights turn.
Yeah, I got it blurred.
That's why everything's blurry that you're holding up to the screen.
Damn it. So, speaking of that,
hey, Will,
and just for kicks, the what is it called? The CDC released their e-cigarette nicotine thing 2024.
Yeah.
Last week or week before, I don't know.
Finally, yeah.
I wanted to point out this buried sentence into the chat just for fun, that you guys can just do what you like with it. That's what it says.
We covered that. We showed that here on the show. Yeah.
So these they were self-reported, and this lady saying the same thing. It reminded me of that.
But again, this woman
Mm-hmm.
doesn't understand what the difference between correlation and causation is.
Well,
she used the
does
word
anybody
correlation,
really?
And that there's no scientific. I mean, you cannot say just because two things occur that one thing caused the other thing.
Right. That's it.
Poor academic performance, increased absenteeism, and higher dropout rates for users. We see students who've been using e-cigarettes for quite some time, and they struggle to make it through an entire school day without asking for multiple restroom passes to go and try to sneak another hit on their vape.
The Keep Michigan Kids Tobacco Free Alliance is
that's conjecture, you twat.
Again, the kid can have diarrhea today.
Oh my God. My apologies for the ladies in the room. Come on.
Tobacco prevention legislative package. The proposals would end the sale of flavored e-cigarettes and menthol flavored cigarettes. The package would also tax e-cigarettes and vaping products in the state for the very first time, increasing tobacco.
So Michigan, boys and girls, appears to be attempting to do a flavor ban.
Oh, wretched.
A menthol ban and a tax. Now, how constructive is a tax bill going to be if you ban all the things that people buy?
Oh, pick me. So, to your point, it perhaps, or maybe I'll just babble. First of all, you're going to ban it, so it's not unavailable. Second of all, if it is available and it's taxed to keep the children from it, isn't the law already keeping the children from it? So the tax is a bullshit story that you just want to create revenue for, wretched. You just keep me out of the courts. That's all. Because you fucking lie, and that's what it is. That's all it is.
But, yeah.
Conjecture.
Yeah.
Tobacco taxes with proceeds dedicated to reducing tobacco use among youth.
No, it doesn't.
So they're gonna pass a tax, Kevin, and they're gonna use that money to help people quit smoking and learn the dangers of cigarettes.
Let's do a poll in the chat. I was going to do this on Twitter the other day. At this point in our journeys, all of you are smart and smarter than Patrick and I. At least as smart, if not smarter. Most of you are smarter.
Possibly.
Do you think you can just put low, medium, high, or whatever it is for the choice? The rates of smoking and vaping, both, are going to increase next year, stay the same, or continue to drop? I say they're going to stay the same or slightly increase, but I say stay the same. What do you think, Patrick?
Oh, I think they're definitely going to stay the same.
Okay. I'm just checking. I don't think it can go any lower. I really don't.
It's really way too big.
I just don't think it
I
can.
over rubbed it. I rubbed it too much. Now it's too big.
That's never something she said.
Now, Kevin,
what are you
this
doing?
Is just a little aside. Somebody sent me something this afternoon.
Okay.
And I'm just making sure that I cover up all the necessary. I don't want to out anybody. Hey, Andrew's in the room. I don't want to out anybody. But I saw this and Kevin, I do get highly critical of some things when I see some things.
Okay.
But
potty mouth. Yes.
You do have a potty mouth. But somebody sent me this and I just got a little chuckle. I just want a little chuckle here.
Chuckle.
Smoke Shop Insider.
Okay.
And there's a picture of our friend Tony Abood, who I like Tony.
He's been on the show. Twice.
He's been on the show. I like Tony
at least once.
But I do understand what Tony is.
Mm-hmm.
Tony's doing a job, and he's doing the job for the people that pay him, and that's fine. But I did see this. It says the VTA is keeping your business afloat.
Okay.
And I did see that, and And then down here it says, see how. I saw this and I did get a little chuckle. I did get a little chuckle, Kevin. Yeah. And I did see an advertisers list in this Smoke Shop Insider magazine, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all like kratom and alternative products. There was maybe one vaping advertiser in it. I miss the days when I was able to produce a high quality advocacy focused magazine.
There isn't any. Is there?
Yeah. But those days are gone. Advertisers weren't willing to continue to advertise. You can't produce a magazine without advertisers.
No.
But I did think it was kind of funny that Tony's big old face is on that magazine cover, and how the VTA is saving the industry. Yeah,
he met with Trump.
He did. He did.
I saw that tonight.
We will cover that later, Kevin.
Okay, good enough.
Yeah, that is in the show notes. The very end. The very end. But Kevin, I did see this story. This particular story was tweeted earlier this week by our friend Greggy.
Uh-oh.
Then I found that it had been rebroadcast on like 100 different sources on the webs here, Kevin. But let's see this. I have video. I have video here, Kevin. Let me make sure that this is going to play right.
Talking about breathing and the effects on our breathing with certain things that people are doing, especially children these days. So we've reported countless times about the dangers and long-term health impacts of vaping and teen.
The dangers, countless times. The dangers of vaping, countless times, Kevin.
At least a gazillion or two.
Yeah, countless.
But we've never really understood the risks during this season, flu season.
And there is a significant impact. Dr. Fariba Rezai of Cleveland Clinic's Children joining us in studio. Kind of talk about how these problems can create a real health situation for young people. First of all, this idea of vape, people thought it was an alternative to smoking, that it might be okay. Mm-hmm. But you're finding that not only is it not okay, but it's affecting the immune system.
That's right.
Yeah.
So talking a little bit about the vaping and what's the vaping. The vaping devices or electronic cigarettes, basically they use a battery device that is operated by the battery. And when the battery is turned on, there is a liquid inside the electronic cigarettes that you usually put it in the pod. And the heat turns it to the aerosol that can inhale. So then when it came 2007, all this vaping, and then they were thinking that to add
2007.
Stop.
This is a vaping expert, Kevin. 2007. Now, if we had a product that was available in 2007, Kevin, you know what that date is called. That's the predicate date.
Yeah. And
if there was a product that was available in 2007 and widely and available in the States for sale, if one single sale of that product had been registered in 2007, then we would have a predicate product for a substantial equivalent PMTA.
And I will bet any of you $1, because I don't have a lot of money, but I bet you $1 that there's no one using a product from 2007. So
there was no product in the United States in 2007, Kevin.
But if there were, let's just bullshit's sake, let's say that Nick had a whatever the fuck, and then he's still using it. I can't imagine that it can still work. And he
actually,
replaced
Kevin,
it with the
one in
same
the tackle
thing.
box. I have a Cigalike in the tackle box.
Yeah, I have a Cigalike.
That still charges.
Yeah, I haven't tried mine in a while.
It's from 2010.
I think mine has to be 2013. But
Nick wants to know why Rumble is so quiet. Because I'm on. If I just told everybody that the show was going to be on Rumble from now on, Nick, they would be in Rumble. But people are just not used to Rumble.
We're gluttons.
They just they want to go over here to the YouTubes who are the most restrictive. That's okay. We'll broadcast in all the different places until everybody decides to go to the Rumbles. But anyway,
so nobody is using a 2007 product today.
Nobody
consistently.
None.
I have.
There's not a product that was. If there was a product in commerce in 2007, somebody would make that product now.
Even I, as faithful as I was to my CE4s, don't use my CE4s with my Ego battery, which this could use with that CE4. No, there's better technology. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Even from
like
2013.
I said, even if there was a product that they could match, if there was a product that was available in the United States in 2007, somebody would wise up and manufacture that product today because they would get their product through much easier, would be only, they'd be the only legal non-big tobacco product on the market.
Mm-hmm.
And would make billions of dollars.
You think?
If they were the only big tobacco product that was available, because the cigarette light that I used in 2010 had a refillable cartomizer on it, and it tasted fine.
See, I had to use the foam and all that shit. Yeah.
Well, yeah. You just put the carto on there. You'd pop the little rubber cap off and drip into the foam, and then put the lid, the rubber cap back on, and every 40 or 50 toots, you drop some more in there. Carry a 30 milliliter bottle of e-liquid.
It works.
All you need.
Yep.
Add a little bit they change the nicotine inside the vape that make it a little bit smoother. They added more flavors,
right?
And then they claim that is not as bad. So
again,
it was the fast forward.
She said in 2007 we changed the nicotine to make it smoother. Which is not true. Nicotine salts did not come out until like 2017. Late 2016, early 2017. She's like 10 years off.
A little bit they change the nicotine inside the vape that make it a little bit smoother. They added more flavors,
right?
And then they claim.
And if we're going off of the introduction of nicotine salts, I can promise you there were more flavors on the market between 2010, 2016, before the introduction of nicotine salts than there are now post nicotine salts.
Pretzels, beer, crab.
That is not as bad. So it was the fast forward in 2019. That was that numerous cases of the vaping or electronic cigarette.
I paused on Spike. Let me see. I don't. I don't see Spike. Spike is an old school New York vaping advocate.
Inside the vape that make it a little bit smoother. They added more flavors,
right?
And then they claim that is not as bad.
That was Spike. That's Spike right there.
Spike is the person?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. I don't know.
She was National Vapors Club was the order. It was CASA and National Vapors Club started around the same time, but National Vapors Club, I believe, was slightly ahead of CASA.
Is this the party that I don't remember for sure. They were throwing money or something off a balcony?
Yes.
Is that who?
Yeah.
Okay, I do remember that.
Yes. There's a long history. There's a long history. Some of it is unpleasant.
Wait, let me rephrase my statement. I don't know if it was her, but the group, somebody threw money off a balcony.
Was Spike.
In court.
Yes.
During
it was
a hearing.
It was her.
So okay, that makes it all.
Yeah.
Is not as bad. So it was the fast forward in 2019. That was that numerous cases.
Numerous
of vaping
cases.
Or electronic cigarettes.
Evali.
Lung injury were admitted everywhere in the hospital. So we also published a study of the cases of the teenagers who came to our hospital with the complications of vaping. So
now she's published a study, Kevin, about Evali. And I guarantee you that nowhere in that woman's study does it say that they were vaping anything other than nicotine electronic cigarettes.
No.
And it got through peer review.
Right. The AMA, among all the other alphabet groups, said that there's, during the Triton hearings, I guess, I didn't go into it all. I think Lance put it out. I think brain damage, learning problems, memory issues, chronic bronchitis, emphysema, kids, all kids. And I asked, because I quoted him, tweeted, whatever, where are the records? Where are the stats? What's the data? Because I want to know.
Yeah.
From nicotine? No.
Show me.
No.
Show me.
No. Hopefully the judge or the panel or whoever they are over there are going to pay attention to that.
Well, I would hope that the defense attorney would refute that.
I just dropped you. I can't hear a word you're saying. Hang on. Oh,
shot right out of his ear.
Yeah, well.
Oh, look.
There, now I can hear
man
you.
Grunt.
Old man what?
Had to reach down and pick something up off the floor.
So just my lab before then was studying the role of the viral infection and air pollution on airway epithelial cells, the cells that line the airways, and basically they are the first line of defense to the outside world.
So you were already studying this part.
We were studying the role of the viral infection and air pollution, but not the smoking. So I'm a pediatric pulmonologist, and when I interviewed these kids, they had no idea that as these complications. Basically, they didn't know. Oh, it's just vape. Right. It doesn't affect me. It's only nicotine, or the nicotine is not as bad. So they didn't know that they changed the formulation of nicotine, that you don't feel it. Or some of them were thinking that, oh, it's just a flavor. Basically, the flavor, you can eat the flavor, but you should not inhale it. Let alone that flavor was coming from chemicals, which is not bad.
Right. Flavors were caused by chemicals, Kevin. Chemicals.
You know, I don't like diesel when I'm behind a freaking truck and bus, but it doesn't taste that bad. It's just, you got to deal with it.
Chemicals.
You're all right. Where's my data? Or data?
So it's okay to eat the chemicals, Kevin. But it's not okay to inhale the chemicals.
So she's Googling and writing up a story, all with one thumb in her ass. I'm pretty impressed.
Without having done hardly any research, because she's got her dates all wrong.
Jeffrey.
Yeah. Jeffrey says, enjoy your chemicals.
I can't. Oh, my God.
Vaping is just the worst, man. It's causing air pollution, global warming. Nick Orlando says the immigration crisis. All those people fleeing the
baby oil collection
of vaping in their countries, or trying to come to America to escape vaping.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
So basically, those interviewing and
they just so happen to have stock footage of a dumbass laying on the couch checking his temperature.
Seeing those kids and my publications sparked my passion that I already studied the role of the viral infection and air pollution in
And
my lab. Why I should not study the role of the electronic cigarettes?
So how is it then?
That's
things like
not a
RSV,
very
or
nice picture.
how is this impacting? I know you mentioned the cells and how it's damaging the cells in a sense, but what is the process of this? How do we know that this is for sure taking place, and what can we do? I mean, other than quitting, to prevent this?
That's right.
So what a little bit more about our study is that we basically design an equipment that we can mimic the realistic, like what happens in the real world.
Okay.
We expose the cells to the different aerosols, and then we did the viral infection.
So we're doing cell exposure studies with a smoky machine, Kevin.
Yeah. They don't do real world stuff, Patrick. That would be inhumane.
Yeah, they're probably using rat cells again.
No.
Let's go into that. Sure.
I think they should test it on themselves. So I don't understand why they wouldn't.
That you should take lung biopsies from Nick. I mean, come on.
If you call Mr. Clance,
Yeah. To confuse scientists about science.
That's like 6 more minutes of my life I'm never getting back.
Yeah, I'm cutting that short. But anyway, so that video was actually linked to this article, which has nothing to do with the content that they were showing in the video.
So basically, before you go on, we're going to get the flu if we vape, right? Is that
exactly
right? Take off of the okay?
Yeah. So this says says news here. Quit any way you can. Ohio woman gets black and bloody vape juice removed from lungs.
Miracle. She didn't drown.
And this story, in one form or another, was in almost 100 different media outlets this week, Kevin.
Oh yeah. Well.
And this is the most reputable one. This is actually some of these were pretty kind of squirmy websites. But anyway, this says an Ohio woman is speaking about the dangers of vape addiction following a harrowing hospitalization, Kevin. Jordan Brielle, a 32-year-old from Cincinnati, recently told the Daily Mail, that's a reputable news site, she used to spend $500 a week on vaping. $500 a week on vaping, Kevin?
I think Greg said it must have been gold-plated tips or
$500. Kevin,
I spend $500 every 6 months.
This is a 100 milliliter bottle of e-liquid, Kevin.
Yeah.
Now, this is a little unfair because I produce this in my lab here at my house for my personal use.
Let's forsake for fun's sake.
I make this for about $1.50 a bottle. Now,
let's say for argument's sake, it's $50 a month.
If she purchased it at a store,
this
bottle of e-liquid still would only cost about $29. It's 100.
Let's pretend it's 50. Let's pretend.
I made this on July 20th of 2024. Now, since July 20th, I have gone through 2 bottles of this e-liquid. So that was 2 months ago. So 4 weeks I can get out of one of these bottles here, Kevin. 4 weeks.
You're a self-sustaining man. And I make about, sometimes it's 10, sometimes it's 12, usually around 10 bottles. They're the brown bottles that probably more you guys have familiarity with than I do. This. And my date on this is 22, right? So it's the next to last or the very last one. I made 10 in 22. It's 24. It's almost the end of 24.
But what I'm saying though, Kevin,
November. So
is even if she bought commercial e-liquid. Now Nick says a 100 milliliter bottle of e-liquid is $22 in his store.
Okay.
Now I vape $22 worth of e-liquid then in 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
How and I vape pretty straight, Kevin. I'm pretty steady in my little here in the last couple of weeks. I've been vaping this little smock Nord thing. I haven't used a rebuildable. I haven't used any of my billet boxes. I've been sticking to this because it's convenient. It's really,
Fun.
It's easy.
You like it. It works.
It's easy.
Yeah.
But $500 a week.
No.
$500 a week, Kevin.
It is a week, right? Not a month.
Yes, $500 a week.
Yeah, no, you can't do that.
It says here, she told the outlet she used to vape so much she would take her smoking device into the shower with her and she would sleep with it. Now, Kevin, I carry my vape with me to the bedroom and put it on the bedside table.
I've fallen asleep on my chair
Cuddle
with mine,
it in the sleep.
It happens.
But it is because if I do get up in the middle of the night to go Voop, I have to have my vape to go Voop. But and I don't carry this into the bathtub with me either.
Yeah, well. Wait a minute. Okay, I was picturing Nick in his. Never mind. Okay, go on.
Why would you want to picture Nick in that sort of? That's just wrong. So it says
in his jacuzzi.
Last November, her health started to decline.
Huh.
She says, I felt like there was 80 pounds of pressure just lying on my chest. She told the Daily Mail, explaining she was going to the hospital multiple times a week to help with her breathing problems. The issues didn't stop her from vaping, however. In May, everything came to a head when Brielle's boyfriend found her unresponsive with black mucus coming out the orifices of her face.
Are you sure it was her? Never mind.
The orifices of her face, Kevin.
That's fine.
Quickly rushed to the hospital. Doctors reportedly took more than half a gallon of liquid from her lungs.
Look, this is an imaginary gallon of milk. Pretend it's half full.
That's 4 pounds.
You would drown. No. She would have been dead. Drowned.
It says here, my body was trying to force out the vape juice inside my lungs, which is like concrete. It was pure black and bloody, but at the hospital, they were sucking it out of me. She was put into a medically induced coma for 11 days. Waking up afterwards, she said she had no memory of what took place, but the doctors saying her lungs could collapse at any point was finally made her stop vaping.
Could you explain to me medically how a half a gallon of fluid on my lungs what it would do to me? What would that do?
Actually, Kevin,
would I drown?
No.
I wouldn't drown half a gallon in my lungs.
I've seen patients that have had to have thoracentesis done, or thoracentesis is a buildup of fluid in the thorax. I've had patients that have been bronched and they pulled out that much gunk.
Okay,
when they have pneumonia,
gunk, but not fluid.
Aspiration pneumonia, yeah, it would be sort of mucus and phlegm and stuff. That's thick liquid, essentially. Yeah.
No drowning. All right.
No. Your lungs are huge. I mean, in comparison, if you had a couple cups of liquid in each lung, if you divided it, you've got multiple lobes. It's not all in one place, Kevin.
Well, I guess the only thing
your lungs have different chambers.
I assume her tank was leaking really, really fucking bad. That's
all
I'm
just trying to figure out how she inhaled that vaping liquid.
That's what I mean.
But yeah, you wouldn't drown with that much, yeah. But
oh my God.
Anyway, I would say to anyone else, quit any way you can, she told Daily Mail, saying she also had brain damage following the incident. Do it for your health, your family, your life, and your lungs. Whatever motivates you, use that reason to stop. And I wouldn't wish what I'd been through on anyone else. I feel grateful to be alive. But $500 a week, Kevin, that's $2,000 a month.
Hey, listen, this concludes my contribution being from Ohio for you folks in this content. You're welcome.
This is your state, Kevin. I'm just saying.
Oh my fucking word. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now Jeffrey's got a point. THC pens, I guess it said you could do 5 a day or something. 6 a day.
But that would make you really high all day.
But it's achievable.
I've never bought a THC vape pen, so I don't know what they cost. Bastard.
Neither have I.
Bastard wants to know how much they cost.
You see, Dale came in and Bastards in here.
Yeah. I'm dumbfounded that I'm just trying to figure out where this woman has that much spendable income.
Well, that too. This is the most popular
in the
show
Biden
right
economy. Who has $2,000 extra money? I mean, I do pretty good for myself, Kevin, and I still don't have $2,000 extra just laying around every month.
All right,
if I did, I wouldn't be.
Maybe Jerry was right. It's
I'd
more
be
addictive than cocaine.
Ribeye steaks every night. I wouldn't be. I'd go full carnivore.
But Nick in that hot tub though. So there you
go. I know that you're all into like hair though, Kevin. I mean, Fig's hair.
Shh! Don't
Nick really doesn't have a full luxurious head of hair.
I met him.
Now
he was up here.
Jeffrey says he spends
in
less
Ohio
than $50 a month vaping.
Yeah, I can't be more than 20. Let's pretend with every piece of equipment I need on occasion, I might be at 40.
Steve is shaming me that there are people in the chat room that don't have wrenches.
Oh,
now
Jeffrey doesn't.
Well, Jeffrey's not always here. I have to go to my
Dale.
channel now on YouTube.
Dale and Jeffrey.
Give these people that don't have wrenches.
I don't know.
Everyone should have wrenches.
William doesn't either.
Well, Dale
doesn't have
right now.
Will,
I'm going to make him a standard moderator, and William, he can be a standard moderator too.
Jeffrey. Oh, Nick doesn't either.
Well, Nick is.
Or is that
here?
Is that on the other? That's a YouTube one, I guess. I can't tell.
Jeffrey needs one. Here, Jeffrey, I'll give you a wrench.
Steve.
You get a wrench, and you get a wrench, and you get a wrench. So that's Dale. That's Dale, William, and Jeffrey have all been wrenched. Now, don't be banning each other out there. I don't know that you can actually. I don't think you can actually wrench somebody, or you can ban another wrenched person. I'm not sure. Your job is to ban all of the porn bots.
Porn bots
only.
That did happen once. Somebody banned somebody.
Yes, that did happen.
Desk.
And somebody says, "Why did you block me?" And I'm like, "I didn't do it. I never have YouTube open to do that." Actually, Addie had to solve that problem because Addie's smarter than I am.
That's right. Now you guys have tools. You're watching tools and you got your own. Look at that.
Yeah. Don't be a tool. Oh, here.
I know.
This is from Wales Online, Kevin. Wales. That's where all the Welsh are from.
Yeah.
It says here, I started vaping at 12 and now I can't quit. Everyone is doing it.
Oh my.
So
how about that?
No thanks. I don't want you. I don't want updates. Go away. A teenager who started smoking when she was 12 says she is now addicted and is now having health implications she can't keep up with. Holly was speaking as new research found 1 in 7 children have been caught vaping. Around half of parents whose children have been caught vaping were under 11 years old. Okay, Kevin, let's read this sentence again and tell me what's wrong with this sentence. Around half of the parents whose children have been caught vaping were under 11 years old. and almost 2/5 bought them from friends at school. So
2/5.
Around half of the parents whose children have been caught vaping were under 11 years old.
Yeah.
I think we need to go to Wales and teach these people that their 11-year-olds shouldn't be having kids. Because that sentence says that over half of the parents of the kids that were caught in vaping were under 12.
It hurts my head. It just really does being here.
I'm just saying there's some commas that should be placed in here that would really fix this. Others took them from family members, bought them online, or used fake IDs to buy vapes in shops. So most of the kids got the vapes from illicit means, Kevin.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's a whole bunch of blank space here in this article. This is quite... there we go. Just a fifth of parents were happy schools have adequate procedures in place to detect vaping, but many parents say that their child's school is increasingly communicating with pupils about the dangers of vaping. 1 in 7 parents say their child has been suspended for selling vapes during 1 in 7, Kevin?
I don't even.
Where are these little sneaky bastards getting the hookup that they're going to school and selling vapes?
Well, I don't know, but $500 a week for that lady.
1 in 7. That's like 17% or something.
Fuck. Yeah, I don't know.
1 in 7 parents says that their child has been suspended for selling vapes during school time. And a further 1 in 8 have been expelled for dealing vapes in school premise. This is more than 10% of the. They're saying that somewhere between 10 and 17% of
like
UK kids are selling vapes at school. That is a huge number of kids.
No, they're not. The market would not bear that true, really, could it? Well, I got some. Well, you got some. Well, no, we got to race to the bottom for the price.
Holy shit.
It's economics. Doesn't pan this thing out, but all right.
I mean, apparently all these kids are mules for the cartels. I mean, damn.
Oh, good Jesus.
I mean, here, let me
I like the 1 in 7. It makes it sound better, I guess.
Yeah, okay. Here,
you can't do a percentage.
Where's my calculator?
Oh,
Where's my calculator?
How many? Steve said it's 14%. I can't.
So I was just guessing, and I said 17. So 14%, Kevin.
I was thinking 15, but I don't like math, so I didn't know. I
hate math.
Keep my mouth shut
But
mostly.
That is 14% of kids in the UK are drug dealers. I thought Australia was supposed to be the penal colony full of criminals, Kevin.
Well, they are. I'm assuming Bruni and Paul are both on probation because they're not here. I don't know.
We do have a couple Aussies in the chat room right now. I
Cheers.
What the fuck? James is in the chat room. He's from Australia.
Will you people get a hold of your damn kids, would you?
Bastard's here. That's homicidal. He's in the chat room. He's also a fucking... What the hell?
Criminal.
You guys are no longer the criminals. It's these fucking Brit kids. They're all going to be transported to Australia.
And where is Jason? What is he doing? Taking the night off? What is this?
I don't know.
It's not excusable. Where did he go?
I don't
know. What is he doing?
I don't know. I can't tell you. Jason. Jason knows that I'm a huge comic book nerd. And a relative of his wife's passed away and had a huge comic book collection.
Oh.
And he sent me some comics, so I got to send him some money because he found a comic book that I've been looking for a long time, and it is not the most. It's not a cheap comic. And I told him I'd give him fair market value. And I got to get it appraised so that I don't want anyone to think that I'm taking advantage of him.
No, right.
But while I was in Pennsylvania, the estate of my grandparents was finally settled. So I came home with a little spending cash, Kevin.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
I did that with my sister. Her husband passed away.
It took a decade, Kevin.
Decade. Oh my
decade.
gosh.
Well,
jeez.
It was a 1,000-acre dairy farm that had to be taken care of. So
sense.
I mean, it took a while.
Yeah, my sister's item I paid fair market value for as well, because there was no way she was going to give it to me. I'm like, no, you're not. I'm going to pay you what it would if I bought it brand new. It was never used. Here's the money, and she said, okay.
No. So Jeffrey has it all wrong. He says I'm wealthier now. I wouldn't call what I got wealth, but
he's the
more than
piddling
what I
end.
had when I flew to Pennsylvania.
1,000 acres, huh?
I mean, as a grandchild, I'm way down on the list of beneficiaries. Let's just put it that way. But 1 in 7 Brit kids, Kevin. Nikki Bowman, a mom of 3, said, my daughter started vaping at the age of 12 and is still addicted now. At the time, I never smelt her vaping in the house, so it's very difficult to monitor.
Huh. I thought it was all flavory and bubbly and
I thought you should be able to smell like cotton candy from your
pancake mix and
watermelon and cotton candy and all that, Kevin. This isn't about me being a relaxed parent or not being diligent. It's a really easy thing to miss, as it's easy to hide. My daughter really regrets starting now, as it's very expensive and she's struggling to give up. The problem is even more difficult for schools to manage. How is she even getting it?
Yeah, earlier we discussed it's illegal and all that, but I don't know.
Kevin, when I was a kid, my mom went through my fucking backpack all the time.
Well, that's because you were an evil bastard.
That is true.
All right. There you go.
But I was also smart enough not to leave the bad stuff in the book bag.
Well, I guess now that I've gotten a little older, I'm sure my mother was sadistic enough to know that I was smoking, but more sadistic to want to catch me. So she never said anything, and I damn well now at this age I know she smelled it, but she never said anything unless she
did. She dealt it.
No, not that I know of. But she never smoked.
She smelt it, dealt it.
That's right. But she never smoked, so I know she knew. But she was very selective. When I did get in trouble for it, it was only a couple of times. But yeah, I got an ass beaten, and then I kept smoking, so it didn't matter.
This next quote, Kevin,
were a shit. Yeah, I'm ready.
This next quote really, this is definitely not an American. I'm just saying this. Most of these vapes wouldn't even activate a smoke alarm, so without searching the children or catching them in the act, it's challenging. The onus has to be on the government to clamp down on access. My daughter had no challenges in buying them at the shop at just 12, which is where the problem started. The onus is on the government, Kevin.
Oh, imagine. Because
now
that's what I want. I want my government to come raise
I'm
my
all
grandson.
about the government enforcing the laws, but when it comes to searching my kid,
yeah, you better back the fuck up.
Regardless of whether it's a strip search or not, you better be calling me.
I am legal representation for my grandson. If there's ever going to be an angry grandfather going into an office,
I mean, if the
go
kid
ahead,
needs
do
beaten,
something.
I'll be the one to do it. But you better be calling
not
me.
Touch me. You better not touch him. Leave him be.
I'm not
Don't
even
make
related.
him do nothing.
I'm not even related to that kid, and I'd go beat the fuck out of somebody. Nikki's daughter, Holly, said, when I started vaping, it was no big deal, just something that made me feel grown up, and everyone else was doing it. At no point did I consider it long term. They didn't even make me cough, and the lack of odor meant I didn't have to hide it from my mom or my teachers. So she's saying that she didn't have to hide it, but she definitely didn't do it in front of her mother.
Yeah. Me too, Dale. I wanted to make a point to this. The child said, let me blow this up so I can quote it correctly. The child said, something that made me feel grown up. Now, when you highlight that part of the statement, your parents were saying, grow up, grow up, grow up. And then you do a grown up thing and then they're pissed. Think about that. Let children be children, right?
Well, yeah.
Stop saying grow up so fast. Anyway.
Now, if it was an 18-year-old, I'd say grow the fuck up. But an 8-year-old, I wouldn't say that to. Sure.
Yeah, I didn't tell my kids to. I don't. Well, if I did, I don't recall. I don't remember. I have to ask them both. I don't remember saying you need to grow up.
Now, Kevin, how many times did you point at your kid and say, "Stop crying, or I'll give you something to cry about"?
Never. Okay. I was told that. I never said that to my kids.
I got that all the fucking time.
My parenting skills were not my parents. That's the rule that it was on the wall. In fact, my mother's paddle is in my garage and it's nailed to the wall. It's not screwed in, it's nailed in on purpose. Anyway.
So it says here.
Yeah. Oh, stop.
The flavors made them even more appealing.
Did
it
they?
just felt like a nice thing to do. Little did I know I would quickly become addicted. When you're 12, you don't understand this concept and you're not even mature enough to recognize it's happening. Now, Kevin, 5 years ago in the UK, the age to smoke and vape was still 18.
Oh, I thought it was 16 forever. Or maybe it was purchase.
It was 16, but she was 12. So she knew that it was against the rules for her to have it.
Of course. Yeah.
So she knowingly bought them when she was 12, knowing that she's not supposed to have them.
You see Jeffrey with the big brain? Huh?
I wonder why, from the vaping and harm reduction advocates in the United States, I have never heard of a story about a problem that required them to go to a school and argue about vaping. Actually, now we know, Kevin, several people that are in the industry or that are vaping advocates that have kids and grandkids. And several of them I know actually went to school and talked to professors and principals and even school nurses. Now, the problem is I don't have kids. So if I were to go to school, they're going to arrest me for being on campus.
As well they should.
I have no purpose for being there. But I do know that there has been conversations between some vaping advocates and school officials. Just not me,
not a lot.
Because again,
not a lot.
I'm not supposed to be on campus because I ain't got no kids. That would be just kind of weird.
But if it happens,
what's that guy doing here? He doesn't got no kids.
It's rare that it's publicized.
Yeah, I mean, I know a couple times some people went to school boards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's that guy's name? Matt. From Baltimore, Maryland, actually took his kids to a hearing
I've got that clip
in Baltimore to testify about vaping.
Matt.
It's Matthew. I sat beside him at a VTA conference. I know him. I can see his face.
I can too.
It's just, when you get old like me, your memory's not so great.
Well.
Yeah. 2/5 of parents welcome the government's new. So less than half of the people in the UK, 2/5 of the parents welcome the government's new tobacco and vape bill that will phase out the sale of tobacco and curb youth vaping. However, a third would also like to see a national public awareness campaign educating people on how to safely dispose of single-use vaping. I fully support a recycling program for vaping products. I've been saying Matthew Milby. That is correct, Kevin.
Yeah. He was at the rally, the first rally.
Yeah,
I don't know if he was at the second,
like
but I was at the first.
He sat beside me at the vaping conference in Austin.
Yeah.
He did not go to the after party in the hotel bar later.
Yeah, I met Jerry there. I met a lot of people anyway. Yeah, Matt was one of those people. That's why I could see his face. Interesting man.
Mira Aznibi, she's a clinical pediatric respiratory nurse specialist. That's a mouthful. The biggest problem I'm seeing, particularly in my role as a pediatric respiratory nurse, is that vaping education in young people sits side by side with the time spent scrolling on social media. Many scroll on socials into the early hours whilst using their vape. This means the amount of time spent vaping is far higher than they were ever designed to be used for. It's not as simple as telling young people to stop, as many are already addicted. Access has to be limited to stop these younger children falling into the same trap. This is something the government has to tackle with a sense of urgency, whilst they smell nice and they don't make these young people addicts cough. They're very much an unwelcome addition to children's lives.
And I'll go back to Dr. Fold's comment, or our comments of that study. You're gonna advertise this to children who have no interest really, because they can't get to it, and then you create the curiosity, and that's been an answer higher than flavors and higher than nicotine. 2018 or 19 was curiosity. How did that curiosity peak? You won't shut the fuck up about it. Stop fucking talking about it.
Well, I like the I saw several interviews with Morgan Freeman over the years, Kevin.
Oh, I know where you're going. Yes.
He did an interview with Mike Wallace from 60 Minutes back a while ago. I mean, obviously it has to be because 60 Minutes is pretty old. But
floored me.
He says to Mike Wallace is trying to bait Morgan Freeman because he's a wise elder African American man. And he was around during the social, the marches and, all that stuff in the 60s. And Mike Wallace says to him about how do you deal with all this racism? And he says, well, stop talking about it.
I didn't see it live. I've seen the clip, and I was like,
"He's just stop talking about it." And then a little while later, he got interviewed by Don Lemon on CNN, and Don Lemon is a very privileged African American young man, and he says, racism is a horrible thing, and we all experienced it, and blah blah blah. And Morgan Freeman goes, why are you talking about it? He says because we can't do all the things that white people can do, and I don't want to turn this into
into but it's the
conversation. But he says look at where we are.
Exactly.
He says, you're black and I'm black, and you have a show on CNN, and I make movies, and we're rich and
a good life.
We have how has racism stopped us from achieving what we wanted to achieve? He said it hasn't, because if you work hard, it doesn't matter if you're purple or green or yellow or whatever. You'll get what you want, but you can't do it sitting on your ass complaining about racism. It's the same thing here. It's the same thing here. Stop talking about it.
Yeah, shut up.
These kids hear about it from not the vaping industry.
Adults.
All of the advertisements for vaping comes from the anti-vapors.
Wait a minute. Let me get this. All advertising comes from NGOs.
Yeah.
All which
of
is
it.
authorized by the FDA and the CDC.
Any pictures of you kids vaping that you see, Kevin?
Yes.
They're photoshopped pictures of kids vaping because
our government
made it.
Our government says, here are the numbers.
Oh, I saw an anti-smoking campaign ad today, Kevin.
You lie like a dog.
No, I saw one today.
Where? Where were you in?
I was in a patient's house. They were watching like some old folks channel, and it was on there. Yes.
What?
It's right in the middle of like Walker, Texas Ranger. I promise you.
Wow.
I saw it.
CDC?
It was relatively newish looking.
CDC? Or
it's the first one I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, from who? CDC?
Yes.
No shit. Just smoking, not vaping. Wow.
No. It was smoking. I was like, what?
So yeah, Carl Phillips, again, love to hate him and hate to love him. He said it was an orchestrated campaign. Orchestrated. So the CDC and the FDA and Gottlieb and the other fucks, including Brian, been there a long goddamn time. It isn't like he's a new guy. They said, well, here's what we're going to do. And we'll just make some word salad bullshit, which is why it's in there. And then we'll just let them do what they want. We're not going to correct anybody for anything. Fuck all that. Let them go. That's what they did. That's what they do. That's what propaganda is.
I challenge anyone to find a TV commercial, a radio commercial, a print advertisement for a vaping product anywhere in the United States. I don't know about other countries, but anywhere in the United States.
Dorfin or Deerfin or something that was on Blue.
No, I'm talking about now. I'm talking about now.
No, that's the last one I remember.
No, there. Views used to run a commercial after the.
Okay, I don't remember. Well, I quit.
Enjoy commercials. He did Blue.
Sorry,
way more than the Steven Dorff.
I don't know. Somebody. I did a blog on this fucking advertising.
Yeah.
Blue. Truth and the thing, just kids, just for a second, use your heads, take your hats off, let it breathe a little.
Yeah.
What colors, Patrick? What colors does tobacco-free kids use? What colors do they use for their logo?
Red and white, red and black, red.
What colors Marlboro's?
Red, and black, and white.
Ah, fuck me! Imagine that. Look at that. How about that?
So Dale says.
Observation.
Dale says that the local Maine radio stations up there run vape shop ads. I haven't. And if they do they actually mention their brands of products, or are they just saying, "Come to our vape shop"?
Wow. Dale, I was up there this year. I missed it. I smelled that air. I was so happy.
But all right, let's check out this. This is a UK here.
Big news for vapers and smokers because the Department of Health's proposed tobacco bill has been presented to Parliament and it is calling for massive changes, including that vaping will face the same regulations that smoking does and that much stronger regulations will be introduced on both smoking and vaping that could result in jail time. Here's what you need to know about the new proposed legislation.
You buy a vape in a vape store, you're getting 20 years in the hooskow, Kevin.
Yeah. Come and get me.
If it is introduced, there will be a total ban on the display of tobacco products at points of sale in stores, like at cashiers, and there'll also be a total ban on selling tobacco products in vending machines. And selling and distributing cigarettes and vapes online and through the post and couriers will also be banned. All cigarettes and vapes.
Okay. So no mail order. No displays, no putting your packaging your display in people's views. No mail order. This is instructions for plain packaging. Yada yada yada. Oh yeah.
vapes will be sold in standard plain packaging. Smoking and vaping inside public places and workplaces will also be banned. And you're not even going to be allowed to vape or smoke in a way that disturbs your neighbors. And this also applies to vapes that don't have nicotine. It's a lot. It's a massive change.
So if you go on your back patio and you vape and some of the emission floats in the air into your neighbor's backyard, Kevin, they can call the cops on you. Now, if you're in the backyard barbecuing and your barbecue smoke goes into their backyard, do you get arrested for that?
Right. Well,
and if you break any of these regulations as a smoker or like a business establishment, you will face heavy penalties, including fines and, in some cases, jail time from between 3 months and 20 years.
20 years in the Hooskow, Kevin.
20 years for smoking. What kind of cigarette do you have to smoke to get 20 years in jail? Oh, and I'm being told we have a picture of that cigarette right now. That'll do it. Although, frankly, I think you won't be spending 20 years in jail. You'll be spending about a month and then you will die. Okay, so the Department of Health says the new legislation is aimed at curbing aggressive marketing tactics that have gotten many younger people into smoking and vaping.
Now, again, I don't know what the rules are in the UK, Kevin, but what is this aggressive marketing that they're talking about?
I don't know.
Are they running? Is Five Ponds running commercials in the UK? Is Mama's Bakery? Are they running TV and print ads in the newspapers and magazines?
Are they allowed to advertise at all?
I don't think so. I think the EU is same restrictions that we have on advertisement.
Many governments around the world are taking similar measures. Ireland has already banned the sale of all nicotine inhaling products to under 18s and is about to ban disposable vapes completely and is also banning many vape flavors.
So flavors, disposable.
Cigarettes are not banned.
No, cigarettes are available everywhere, Kevin. Come on.
Well, he said inhalable, so that's untrue.
Yeah, China has banned all flavored e-cigarettes, and in the UK, there are plans to ban all disposable vapes. And some countries are taking intense measures to dissuade people from smoking anything. Take Australia, where cigarette packets have graphic warnings of the harms of smoking. Like, say you want to smoke bond.
Now, Kevin,
collect them all.
I would be collecting if I was a teenager. I would be buying every one of these.
And if they were plain, wouldn't your curiosity
this gangrene one here? I would be so that would be very desirable to have in your collection.
All I gotta say is garbage.
As a teenage boy,
kids.
I'd be like, cool. We walk around going, look at this, look how gross this is,
On Street Blue, which reminds us that smoking causes peripheral vascular disease and also apparently turns you into a zombie. Or what about Marlboro Red, which reminds us that smoking killed Brian. Specifically Brian. Can you imagine achieving nationwide fame after your death for being turned into a living corpse on cigarette packages? Like, seriously, poor Brian. How did they manage to get him to agree to this? Or did his family offer up Brian after he died for a quick buck or as some kind of revenge for long run?
If anybody remembers, somebody sued them for using a picture of them on one of these that didn't even smoke, if I remember correctly. Keep going. I thought that was cute.
Running family feuds. Be nice to your siblings, guys. Or they may one day sell your photos of your mangled body to be the face of lung cancer. And this is a real possibility because our government is considering putting graphic health warnings on cigarette packaging in South Africa.
Oh, I was wrong. This is not the UK. This is South Africa.
Now, the vaping industry is extremely touched about this new potential tobacco legislation. They're saying that the new laws would be too harsh on people who use vaping to quit cigarettes. This is a key message from the vaping lobby, that vaping is a solution to get people off of so-called combustible cigarettes Sounds like a
So
bomb.
cold.
And they've been peddling this idea for years. The vaping industry has long claimed that vaping is 95% less harmful than smoking cigarettes, based on a research paper that came out years ago that was used by the UK's government to write their vaping policy. This claim that it's 95% less harmful than cigarettes comes to a shock to literally anybody who has smoked and vaped before, because they know how it feels. Becky Cisa Center for Health Journalism, which in South Africa, recently interviewed Richard van Zyl-Smith from the University of Cape Town's Lung Institute. And they asked him about the 95% safer research paper, to which van Zyl-Smith said, and I'm going to quote him directly here, that paper was published by a reasonably obscure journal and put together from a scientific point of view by a bunch of suspicious and unreliable research.
The Royal College of Physicians, Kevin.
That's right. You're a fucktard.
He had me up into a point.
Oh, good Lord. Oh.
They have red flags due to their affiliations with the tobacco industries, which is academic speak for their fucking industry plants, guys. They're agents of big smoke. Reasonably obscure journal.
Big smoke.
Is that what we are now? Big smoke.
Means
we aren't. But...
And a group of individuals not having the cleanest record in relation to their affiliations with tobacco industries means that they were bought and paid for propaganda. Nobody knows why the British government chose to believe in and use that research paper. No research paper since then has had similar findings about 95% harmful. In fact, an analysis of many studies published in a reputable journal found that vaping is as bad for you as smoking traditional cigarettes when it comes to the chance of getting heart disease and having a stroke. And The Guardian in the UK reported that medical researchers have found evidence that vaping increases the risk of cancer because it changes your DNA, people.
You're going to get a strike anyway. Oh my God.
I really want to minimize this.
I'm out of breath now.
Now let's see. Let's see.
Make sure there's somebody on there. Yeah. Oh my God. You know, I find it odd while we're waiting on Patrick to stop jacking around. I haven't heard, and I think we're up to 34. Somebody
Kurt already did it.
All right. About 34 tobacco products have been approved by the FDA for public sale, and I haven't heard one NGO say we don't want that. They just got approved and nobody cared. But if they're going to be flavored, they care. Imagine that.
They care.
Oh,
this is a rather disturbing one, Kevin.
You're rather disturbing.
This one's disturbing. This is not about nicotine vaping. It is about Delta 8, which quite a lot of our friends, do stuff like that. And some of our friends are, sell these products or whatever. It says here, a young Texas woman bought legal Delta 8 vape oil and wound up in jail on a felony.
Whoops.
Legal. And somehow still wound up in jail on a felony.
How does that work?
I don't know, but we'll find out. You don't need me to tell you our justice system is far from perfect. It too often falls short of what we expect. In Kendall Reed's case, it didn't come close. It didn't even try. Justice, yes, I'm using the sardonic air quotes, functioning more like a mean-spirited gotcha game, a mindless automated trap that upended a hardworking young woman's life and branded her a felon over an offense she had no way to know she was committing. Her crime? Buying a hemp oil vape product to help her cope with anxiety. Arrested by a Plano, Texas police officer soon after the purchase and jailed for possession of a controlled substance, Kendall begged law enforcement and court officials to listen to her. I bought it legally at the corner store. The legal system repeatedly responded, "That's your problem, not ours." If only someone on this miserable road, the police office, someone at the DA's office, or a judge had listened to Kendall from the start, these professionals should have been able to register that she was not a drug-abusing felon, but a 21-year-old scared out of her wits and wanting above all else to do the right thing. Kendall's ordeal has its roots in Texas's decision in 2019 to legalize hemp-based items while keeping marijuana illegal. Hemp, like marijuana, comes from cannabis plants. What differentiates the two is the amount of psychoactive THC, or tetrahydrocannabinol. In Texas, consumable hemp products with less than 0.3% delta 9 THC are legal. Concentrations above that are not. You've heard the ads and seen the billboards for hemp-based gummies and smokables, candies and drinks. Colorful neon storefronts do business in every neighborhood. Users rave that the products ease their muscle and joint pain, help them sleep, and reduce depression. Produced in flavors such as glazed donut and mango surprise and the catchy pineapple coconut pina colada, and branded with cartoonish characters, the items entice consumers, particularly young ones, while learning to make smart decisions. While still learning to make smart decisions. While many, including Texas veterans suffering from PTSD, swear by the products, their unregulated proliferation has led lawmakers, starting with Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, to call for more regulations or even a ban. Some of the harshest unintended consequences have gone unnoticed. At the end of the sales pipeline is the unwitting buyer who purchases edibles or smokes only to wind up in jail for a product far above the THC limit. Kendall endured months of lost wages, court costs, debilitating emotional stress, and a state jail felony punishable by up to 2 years in prison. That felony remains on her record despite Collin County eventually dropping the case. She has a felony on her record now, Kevin.
Jesus.
Kendall felt the tears coming as she began to tell me her story. She fought to compose herself as she did when the magistrate announced her felony charge. I was devastated in that moment, Kendall stated in her soft voice. The closest thing to trouble she had ever been in was a few tardy slips in high school. Now packed alongside women facing more serious charges, she told herself she couldn't show weakness. But I couldn't help it. I was so sad. I'm still sad. Is this legal? Are you sure? In summer of 2022, Kendall decided she was ready to leave her mom's home and be on her own. With savings from her restaurant job, she pulled her silver Ford Fusion out of repossession and rented her first apartment. Kendall, a graduate from Garland Lakeview Centennial High School, didn't celebrate those achievements. She continued to debate between a career in catering or as an X-ray technician. Stress and anxiety over the future ate at her. Worries about whether she was able to pay all of her bills kept her up at night. She decided to try to get relief with one of the hemp-based vape products her friends said had done wonders for them. The oil cartridges, commonly called carts, attached to a special heating battery, and the vapor is inhaled by the user. Kendall said Kendall had seen the items advertised at a store in Firewheel Town Center, a short walk from her mother's apartment where she often bought drinks and chips. As she perused the festively colored selection, she repeatedly asked the store owner, "Is this legal? Are you sure? I don't want anything I could get in trouble for." He tried to dispel her fears. I wouldn't be selling it if I didn't have the lab results to back it up being legal. Kendall selected a Bake Carts Delta 8 cart. Bake Carts Delta 8 cart. Partly because its teal-colored box featured a drawing of a jaunty chef's hat. In large lettering was the assurance the product contained less than 0.3% Delta 9 THC. Delta 8 is not addressed in the state law legalizing hemp products. Kendall says she rarely used her vape device, but she liked knowing it was there if she needed it, so she kept it in her car's cup holder. That decision contributed to a disastrous sequence of events beginning the night of July 12th, 2022. Now, Kevin, if you do have a pot pen, a vape pen that has THC or Delta 8 or Delta 9 or whatever, the worst place to keep it is in your car.
Where it's easily seen. Michael wanted to know how much she paid.
I don't know, $500. About 11:30, after Kendall finished her closing duties at the Halal Guys restaurant, her boyfriend drove her home in her car. They worked together, and because he didn't have his own vehicle, they often carpooled. Kendall was no longer in this relationship, and the man declined to be interviewed. Details about his involvement are from the Plano Police Department's arrest affidavit. If he was driving and they got pulled over, Kevin, he threw her under the bus.
Yeah. Well, unless it's admitted, obvious.
Yeah.
It's the driver's fault.
Yeah. Kendall knew the commutes were risky because she hadn't been able to scrape together the cash to get her registration renewed after the repossession. She also knew her boyfriend occasionally smoked marijuana in the parked car, but never when they were driving. 3 miles south of the restaurant, a Plano police officer stopped them. He walked to Kendall's side of the car and advised them of the expired registration. According to the arrest affidavit, he noticed a strong marijuana odor.
Yeah,
boyfriend's fault. The officer pointed to the vape device, which Kendall acknowledged was hers, and asked if it contained THC. I didn't know how to answer the questions because I didn't know it was Delta 8. Kendall recalled, and the guy on the corner store explained it was legal. The subsequent search of her car turned up a small bag of marijuana and smoking paraphernalia, all of which the boyfriend said belonged to him. So he didn't throw her under the bus. Good boy.
That's good. Good.
He was arrested on outstanding traffic warrants and a misdemeanor count of possession of the marijuana items. So real pot, Kevin.
Yeah, it's a misdemeanor.
Fake pot
is a felony.
In a vape pen is a felony.
It's a crime to make this shit crimes.
Kevin, I think from now on I'm gonna buy real weed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boys and girls don't do drugs.
I've said this 1,000 times, probably not on this show, maybe 5. If you're an adult and you want to go do something, go do that. That's your fucking choice. I don't care.
So it says here, Kendall was arrested on a felony controlled substance charge. Again, real pot, same active ingredient, Kevin.
The exact same ingredient, right? Unless I'm wrong. I think it's right.
THC in pot.
I assume it's the same exact stuff. In a lower form, too, right?
I don't know.
Then
I literally know nothing about
I don't either. I don't, guys. So
marijuana vape products.
Educate me because I don't know. I really don't.
Yeah. But yeah, she was arrested on a felony controlled substances charge. And there's a quote here. But how is that possible? She asked. I bought it legally at the same place I buy my snacks. She would repeat those words for hours as she was handcuffed in police cars, jail cells, and courtrooms. Kendall was booked and before dawn taken to the Collin County Jail in McKinney. They cuffed her hands and her feet. I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like a criminal.
I just don't understand.
Andrew says that he will educate us on pot. I don't.
Okay. I've smoked pot in my day, but I don't know what the level of THC is in that.
I don't know the difference between the strengths. I don't know.
My son loves it. Whatever it is.
The officers to look at her paperwork and let her explain what had happened. She asked if she could take them to the store where she purchased the product. She begged them to test the vape pen cartridge so that they could see it was legal. Finally, an officer told her the initial test at the police station showed the cartridge contained above the legal limit of THC. When she went before the judge for the formal charge and bond, she expressed her confusion. Ma'am, I bought it from the corner store. I'm not exactly sure how this can be illegal. Kendall's bond was set at $2,500, an amount neither she nor her mother could afford. Eventually, the judge released her on a personal recognizance bond, meaning if she didn't show up on her court date, she'd be liable for the $2,500. Bewildered by her arrest, when Kendall and her mother, Juanita Reed, found one another outside the judge's chambers, neither uttered a word for a long time. We just embraced and broke down in each other's arms. A corporate trainer for Baylor, Scott White, Reed had waited hours to take her daughter home. She choked up, remembering Kendall's call from being arrested and jailed. She was terrified. Her daughter, only 4 feet 11 inches. She's taller than my wife. 4 feet 11 inches tall, and with an innocent spirit, would be hurt behind bars. She was incredulous as Kendall, about an arrest for a convenience store purchase across the street from Reed's Garland home. Kendall and her mother have a special bond. Even though Kendall was a baby of the family, Reed said from an early age her daughter gave her strength. She always had that knack of lifting people up and bringing them positive energy. When Kendall was 8, her brother 2 years older, her father died of colon cancer. He and I had been together almost 20 years, and for our children to lose their dad at such an early, this has nothing to do with that. Blah, blah, blah.
No.
Okay. Through that grief, Kendall developed a strong-minded young woman who faces obstacles head on. That's why Reed wasn't surprised once they retrieved Kendall's car. Her first stop was the Firewheel Mall, where she purchased the vape cartridge. Sohail Ladhani runs Z's Stop, a red awning advertised cigarettes, tobacco, disposable vapes, Delta 8, ATM drinks, blah, blah, blah. The card I bought from y'all, I went to jail for it, she told him. You told me it was legal and not something I could be arrested for. He looked at me and said, I'm just not sure how that could have happened to you. When I interviewed Ladhani, he immediately remembered Kendall and her conversation. She was polite, not accusatory, he said, and bewildered by her arrest. They're not supposed to arrest you for that, he recalled telling her, because in Texas, that's products legal. It was under 3% or 0.3%. Dale wants to know, have you ever thought about going back to smoking? Word on the street, it's safer than vaping and doesn't grow more ears.
Well, I've got a third ear. Nobody cares except Dale. He's the only one. I should. I don't have to listen to his ass.
This quote is funny. It's up to the manufacturer to do the right thing. He told me if the lab tests are rigged, that's on them. Actually, not true. No. You are responsible for what you sell. When I visited his store, Ladani stock no longer included the bake carts item. Kendall purchased. The product appears to be made by an online-only distributor, Shop Bake Labs, which markets to wholesalers, including one Ladani bought his supply from. The manufacturer's website includes San Diego lab results stating only a trace of Delta 9 THC was detected in the white Runts product Kendall bought.
Just
yeah.
You kids be careful out there, will you?
I emailed shopbakesales.com through the only address listed on the website and asked to speak to someone about the discrepancy in the test results. The only response I received was, thank you for signing up to become a reseller for Baked CBD products. One of our customer service representatives will contact you within 48 hours of signing up. Looking forward to taking care of all your business needs. Welcome to Vape Fam. 7 times over the minimum. For more than a year after her arrest, Kendall waited to learn her fate. Occasionally, she told herself the case might have been dismissed, but most days the possibility of a felony conviction left her in a spiraling depression. In December of 2023, a letter from the Collin County judicial system arrived. It alleged Kendall had missed a court date and a warrant had been issued for her arrest. She frantically searched her phone for the closest lawyer to her Addison apartment. 3 minutes away was MC criminal law attorney Messina Madsen, answered her call. Madsen started digging and learned a previous letter advising Kendall of the court date omitted her apartment number. It had been returned to the Collin County stamped inadequate address.
Wow.
What Kendall didn't know was a Collin County grand jury already had indicted her on felony drug charge. Forensic testing of the vape oil had revealed a Delta 9 THC with a concentration of 2.53%, about 7 times the above the Texas statutory minimum. Collin County DA Greg Willis told me via email. Willis said his office handled about 700 THC cases in 2023 And despite labeling on products saying that they were under 0.3, testing almost always revealed THC amounts many times over the legal limit. This sort of super potent THC is obviously both a health and public health concern, especially since many products are marketed to and used by young people. Again, I won't. There's the marketing to claim again. State lawmakers are increasingly troubled by the consumable hemp industry, blah, blah, blah. You know, Kevin, this is a sad story, and I've been reading for a long time. I'm not going to read any more of this.
Yeah.
But the fact that I would almost say a good attorney could argue that the consumer that purchased the product that was marketed and labeled at below the legal threshold should not be the one punished for it. It should be the person selling it to the consumer.
Right.
Even now, see, this is one of those multi-level smackdowns that should occur.
And then they would have to go through they would have to go through their channels
Now,
to get to the manufacturer.
It could be that I'm a little bit overly cautious, and I would say if I owned a business, that I would pay to have it tested.
Can't raid. What? Oh my god! This is on Twitter. Oh my god! I guess
when we get to the Twitter, the X post here in a little bit, Kevin.
I guess when
I will show you one that I did today while responding to the Trump stuff. But
when I'm at the store and I buy aspirin, I guess is my example. I assume it says 300 milligrams or whatever the milligrams are. What I assume as a educated, chucklehead is that it might be 299.944 and it might be 301.883. Who cares?
Well, no, Kevin,
there's a tolerance, right?
I do know for a fact.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, John was on the show from Cannoli. E-liquid, and he went through a very aggressive process of testing a lot of products before he moved into that market, and had essentially proven to me and a lot of people that a lot of the people that had gone from vaping into the CBD world maybe hadn't done their due diligence when it came to learning the science.
I believe that.
And that a lot of products on the market, people were testing hot.
Right. So the tolerance is shit.
So, yeah. And if I were to step into that world, I would be very cautious.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people that were vape bros.
Right. Who become
that
whatever
suddenly started selling products that could get people put in jail.
Right. So I guess it's in general the same thing to me that a shop or whatever would be making what they say is 18, 24, 12, 6, whatever. It should be 18, 6, 12, 24, whatever. That's what it should be. I'm sure when I make my own, I'm making it at 18. I may put just a dab, little bit more of something to make it 17 or make it 19. If I put a little,
right.
But I'm within reason an 18.
But not 7 times.
No. Oh fuck no. So I'm a chucklehead with a beaker and a bottle, and I can't imagine that I can fuck that up. But it's the same importance to me for us who have been basically self-regulating for decade now more, that you should have what you have in there. That's what it should be within reason. Right. There's got to be a little tolerance, but normally,
it's more expensive.
Yeah,
the processing of the oils to get the Delta 8 out so that the Delta 9 is there, right? So they're different oils. They're different cannabinoids.
Right. Yeah, I don't know anything about it.
The process of refining the Delta to refine out the THC, if you don't start, depending on what strain of hemp or pot that you're using, that strain of pot could have higher levels, because now they're genetically modifying the pot plants or the hemp plants.
This ain't the 80s, right? Yeah.
Right. To increase the amount of the CBD while reducing the amount of THC, but that's an expensive process. And if you don't do it right,
you're gonna fuck it up.
If you buy a cheaper product, which many people do.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
You run the risk of, what John Nathan, did was, testing your product and finding out it's hot, which means it has way too much THC in it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you think
here, Kevin, here's another news story about the new technology that schools are using to catch kids vaping.
2 million kids are vaping in middle and high school. Those new stats were released by the FDA. Vaping can be addictive and cause health problems. One local school district is using technology now, trying to keep students from vaping on campus. KCAL shows us how.
Kevin, if I had been smart about...
Why did he say FDA? It was at CDC, right?
CDC, yeah. Well, the FDA may have retweeted it.
Anyway, so if you were smart...
If I was smart about 7 years ago, I would have invested into vape detection machines.
Oh, yeah.
And just sat around a little while and waited for the fear mongering to kick in for my company to start making tons and tons and tons of money off of vape detection.
$1 gazillion.
Yeah.
How it works.
Diane Shumway is a mother of 6.
It was fun. I got addicted to having them.
But for the last decade,
she got addicted to having kids.
She's been dealing with another kind of addiction in her home.
He's addicted to nicotine.
Shumway says it started when one of her now adult sons was in middle school. That's when he first tried a flavored vape in his school bathroom.
The tobacco industry repackaged nicotine to make it smell great, like blueberry muffins.
The tobacco industry, Kevin.
She says since he started vaping, his personality changed. The former honors student ended up not graduating with his class.
This makes me so angry that the FDA is not doing anything.
That's right. Yell at him.
The FDA is not doing anything to parent my child for me.
What are you doing, Big Bry?
Schools like Rosemead High School are trying to nip this growing problem in the bud.
It's the health of our students that we're most concerned with.
El Monte Union High School District Chief Technology.
Now, this guy is doing the thing that I said that teachers should do in between classes.
Can you imagine?
He's walking into the bathroom.
He's a human vape
Technology officer Eric Steelman says in March, they installed these new vape detection sensors in every student bathroom in the district.
The sensor itself is directly in the middle of the unit.
He says the request to do so came from both staff and the students themselves.
And they only got 4 or 5 minutes, and unfortunately, they're not able to use the restroom because students are doing things that they shouldn't be doing.
The school partnered with California-based security company Verkada, whose technology combines both an air quality sensor and an AI camera.
We can see faces, and then we can learn the patterns as they go throughout the campus, and then which areas specifically are the most neediest, need to be addressed.
If the sensors detect the vape, it immediately alerts campus security on their iPad.
Now, Kevin.
Did he say you can't go to the bathroom for more than 4 minutes? Is that what he said?
Because you can't go to the bathroom because other people might be in there vaping, and that prevents you from peeing. This fella here.
Yeah. Security bastard.
He's really this guy with the goatee and the dangly earrings
doing what I
really
used to
looks
do,
like he's a
not.
serious security person.
My uniform was blue and I didn't wear khakis.
Alerts campus security on their iPads. They were then able to address the issue with the student. Since installing the sensors, Steelman says there's been a 30%.
Did you just see a boy going into the girls' bathroom?
Did you just see a guy going into the girls' bathroom? Knock, knock, fuck you. Oh my God!
No, shouldn't they have
of course,
alerted a female staff member?
That's playing one on TV, but that's what's going to happen. That's partially right there what's going to happen. If that doesn't alarm you, get out of the room.
Steelman says there's been a 30% drop in the number of vape incidents just at this school. Shumway says this technology is a good start to deter students from vaping at school.
You know what would deter kids from vaping at school, Kevin?
Focusing on access, compliance, and enforcement.
Well,
no.
Even simpler.
What?
Parents being more active in their children's lives.
No,
Kevin.
you can't say that now. It's too late.
I can say it.
We're fucked. No, we're fucked. What are you pussyfooting around for?
Sit down with them and have a heart-to-heart conversation.
But she and fellow members of Parents Against Vaping e-cigs, or PAVE, hope the government and schools take it a step further to implement prevention, intervention, and recovery programs for the youth.
Is it really the kids' fault that they're in the bathroom and they take a couple impulsive hits and then they're addicted? And so you've really got to educate.
A couple impulsive hits, Kevin, and they're addicted for life.
It's a scourge.
Destructive vaping can be.
In Rosemead, I'm Rita Nakano, KCAL News.
I've gone off and broken walls in half because it's very destructive. I like the devil. Where'd that come from? What was that?
Well, that's an advertisement for a Heroes War, a game, Kevin.
I explained to my wife the other day. She said, "You don't cough at all, do you, anymore?" I said, "No, not really. Once in a while. It just, natural, human thing sometimes." But I said, I don't have any carbon monoxide in me anymore. It all goes back out.
Carbon monoxide.
I don't want a female teacher walking into the boys' room any more than I want a male teacher walking into the girls' room.
No, girls.
I know they did that for TV. But
girls don't want anybody to know that they actually poop.
Fuck. I just don't understand.
This is just an invasion of privacy.
Well, see, the problem to me is that it's for your own good. The motto, "it's for your own good," is bullshit. And if the parents can't parent because it's an action verb, then it starts at home. If I haven't heard that before, I'll tell you if you've never. And right, Pave, and stop fucking letting your kids have all this money to buy this shit to take it to school to fuck with it.
Yeah, if they think that bans or taxes or increasing prices is going to do anything, that's not going to stop kids. They have more disposable income than their parents do.
Right. And as a it's not a footnote, it's a head note to me. This should be at the top of the fucking list. The stats have shown the lowest rates in 10 years, yet we're still seeing propaganda just tossed around. And
I have video of the current head of the FDA saying that this is not an epidemic. It does not meet the definition of epidemic because he's an epidemiologist, Kevin, and he knows.
That's right. And you better fucking respect that. So, yeah, kiss my ass. But PAVE still has their finger up everybody's ass, and I don't like that.
Well, sometimes it's not bad, Kevin.
Well, do not enter severe tire damage. To me, you do what you will. I don't care. But all I know is shut up about it.
Yeah. Only one finger though, Kevin.
Oh, all right. That's fine.
Hey, Kevin.
Next. Fucking meow.
It's time for the Vape Cats SS of the week.
Now, before I say anything about any of my fucking tweets, you can kiss my ass.
Well, I got to say something about them. They're going to be
Fine,
on the screen.
but you can kiss my ass.
So Kevin, this is another news story from Australia showing exactly what happens when black markets are created and then taken over by cartels.
Pippa and Juca, I think, are the two that are. It's been 0 days since signs almost every day. Yeah.
So it says this is from News Melbourne. This is from September 14th. It says here, another tobacco store has been targeted in an arson attack, this time on High Street in Thornbury. There have been more than 100 tobacco stores hit in arson attacks since March. This is cartel drug, like fight, like gang war type situations,
This ain't 14-year-olds.
These are serious people doing bad things because the government has created a perfect environment for them to use their already established channels of distribution to bring in nicotine vaping products alongside their hard drugs.
That we were assured that would never happen.
Never happen.
Ever.
Mick Zeller said that would never happen, Kevin.
No. And he's the king because,
Yeah. But then I got a tweet here. This is from you. This is for you.
Kiss my ass.
Speaking of marketing to kids.
Because fucking what is that? And why?
It's a transformer, Kevin. It's a robot that
But who are they targeting?
Kids.
I rest my case. I got nothing to say else.
Quitting smoking is more than meets the eye. Roll out a healthier you by setting a quit date and make so roll out, Kevin, is what Optimus Prime says when he calls the Autobots into action.
Logan would have known that, not me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't understand the marketing.
There's Kevin. Kevin says information about quitting smoking is more than CDC tobacco free will ever allow your eyes to see. Are you trying to rhyme there, Kevin?
Actually, no, I was not. I didn't even realize I did.
Information about quitting smoking is more than tobacco free, said will ever allow your eyes to see.
I really did not do that on purpose.
Here's an example. Take a look from 20 and then
I also put above them that I was rolling my eyes at them. I'm playing on their words. That's all. I really didn't think I was rhyming. I'm not that smart, unless I purposely do it. Agent Anya told me I was a poet, and I didn't know it though a few times. So
So Bones says, of course they aren't. Can buy a carton of cancer sticks or black market cigarettes anywhere, but access to the 95% safer product. Oh no! For that you have to become a registered nicotine addict and get your doctor's prescription. So if you scroll up, Mark Butler has announced a $5.2 million illicit vapes and vape. This is what was seized: 5.2 million illicit vapes and vape products seized this year, following our government's crackdown on unlawful vapes. And Bones says, how many deaths has vaping nicotine caused? Zero. How many through smoking? 20,000 per year in Australia. You really must be bought and paid for by big tobacco and big pharma. If you believe for a second what you are doing is for people's health, it's all about big tobacco getting their hands back on the nicotine market. Your complicity stinks to high heaven. I am sure your bank balance is nice and healthy, though. 1.7 million adult vapors in Australia are fuming with your government stupidity. That's a lot of votes. Your loss. Yeah. I like Bones. I don't know who Bones is, but I like them.
I like
Bones. And then, Kevin, we have one. This is from this afternoon. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Let me do this again. This is
Patrick was wrong.
Philip Kowski.
Yeah.
Ron Filipkowski is an attorney and a Marine and a former federal and state prosecutor, and he's not sure we've ever had a presidential nominee run on a platform to stay vaping, but at this point, he's promising everyone everything. And then obviously this is the tweet that we will talk about in more detail later on.
All bets are off.
I specifically wanted to show this, Kevin, because I'm kind of upset about something that occurred in this tweet down here. I believe it's this one.
I don't know. I really don't.
It wasn't this one. It was VTA, or not VTA, AVM. Did the same Trump tweet.
Okay.
I go to my profile real quick, and I go over here to replies.
Uh-oh.
And I scroll down, Kevin.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, this is
that one.
This is the same one. Yeah, this is Donald Trump says, I saved flavored vaping in 2019 and it greatly helped people get off smoking. I raised the age to 21, keeping it away from kids. Kamala and Joe want everything banned, killing small businesses all over the country. I'll save vaping again.
Kamala.
So I scroll down here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Is this the ugly part?
Yes, I'm gonna ignore this right now because I have a mission here, Kevin.
A viewer warning: this could get ugly. Because it may.
So
I don't.
Skip, our very good friend Skip, Kevin.
Yeah.
Skip says, former shop owner and manufacturer here. Tell me again what he did to save my small business.
It's a good question.
Now,
it's an excellent question.
Now, this moron here, Kevin.
I've only had personal contact with him once.
This moron, this cowardly piece of shit moron. How about I just go there for a minute? This attorney who lost his license to practice law twice. The vaping attorney, the guy that says that ethics are not important, that guy opens his mouth and says, what took you out was horrid policies passed by Minnesota. The open system industry would have ended in 2020, but for Trump. Now, this is a moron that may not be aware that those business practices that he's referring to is a 95% wholesale tax that had been in place for almost a decade before Skip went out of business. Vape shops and vaping businesses in Minnesota were surviving quite well with a 95% wholesale tax. It wasn't the 95% wholesale tax that ran them out of business. It was other bullshit. And I'm not going to say it was all Trump's bullshit, but it was bullshit that was occurring federally that ran them out of business. It was the Valley. It was inept leadership in the vaping advocacy world. It was people not doing enough to protect their own businesses in the vaping industry. There was a perfect storm of moronic behavior.
As a whole, Skip is not the cause of that.
No. There was a handful of people fighting like fucking cats and dogs, and then everybody else was just trying to benefit from the work of other people. Now, that's not what I'm.
That's not why we're here. Oh, it gets uglier. Oh, good Lord.
So if I scroll down just a little bit more, Kevin.
I made you as big as you can be.
If I scroll down a little bit more. Now, Janine says, now this moron right here. This moron right here. Now, this moron right here, he's got a Dwight Yoakam photograph as his profile pic.
Is that who that is? What is that?
That is Dwight Yoakam, the country artist. This guy's name is Bill Clay. And Bill Clay says he's the CEO of Saying How It Is. We go
Okay,
hard
Bill.
so you don't have to. And he's got a little copyright symbol there. And he's got 372 followers, Kevin.
Wow.
Now, I'm not going to say that I'm some sort of social media monster over here, but I have at least 4 times that many followers.
He sounds like a mogul with We Go Hard, you know.
Now, the thing is Kevin, I would have let him do anything that he wanted to do.
Oh, you've responded. Oh.
But and I was nice in my response, Kevin, that you're just seeing the first part of right there. I was nice. But the more I've thought about it since this happened, I've fumed a little bit. I have fumed a little bit at Bill Clay here because Bill Clay says, right after you tell us what the fuck Kamala has done in the last 3.5 years. So Skip is saying that she wants somebody to tell her what Trump did because this is in response to something that Trump said.
Right. That's
so
context.
Somehow this tiny brained fucking idiot, this low testosterone moron that has been slavering at the cock and balls of Donald Trump has decided that he's going to call my friend a retard.
Hey, listen, that was really good use of the word. Was it slothering?
So, this moron here, this low testosterone, spineless piece of shit, who's super brave on the internet, apparently.
Well, yeah.
Will call a woman. Now, where I come from, Kevin, and I'm sure it's probably the same area, you would never call a woman that you don't know or a woman that you do know retard. Only a piece of shit, low testosterone, homosexual piece of crap, and I'm saying that in a derogatory way. I'm sorry.
I'm so glad
because I know it will piss him off. Who's been fronting on the cock of the stupid piece of shit orangutan has decided that he's going to call somebody that he disagrees with, that he doesn't have the intelligence to refute or answer her question by trying to deviate the topic away from the failures of the orangutan onto Kamala, which she has a whole laundry list of her own failures.
Well, yeah, don't they all?
Now, if he had refuted the claim, if he had responded, well, Donald Trump did X, Y, and Z to save the vaping industry.
Right,
he did shit to save the vaping industry, by the way. But, Kevin, I decided I would respond.
All right, I'm ready.
And I said, she doesn't have to prove Kamala has done anything. The grown-ups are talking about whether the orangutan did what he said he did. He didn't raise the age to smoke to 21 because 50 states had fucking done that first.
He just did it federally. Exactly.
Which means nothing. Kamala and Joe didn't kill the independent vaping industry. That happened while Trump was in office. EVALI, the lack of response, the poor leadership, him not stepping in as the head of the executive branch of the government, who just so happens to be in charge of the Department of Health and Human Services, that is also in charge of the FDA. He had the authority to step in and tell FDA to streamline their process for product approval to save the vaping industry, but he didn't.
No.
He didn't save anything.
In fact, Alex, whatever the fuck his name was at HHS, said, we're going to end this now with flavor
Azar.
to that effect. Azar. Yeah, Azar. He said that just before the meeting, just the day or two before that.
So all Trump is doing by saying that he's going to save the vaping industry, Kevin, is he's standing over the smoking corpse of an industry that he didn't save when he was president, and now he's saying that he will. It's fucking dead, Kevin. The industry's that was there in 2016, 2017.
Yeah,
it's dead. Those people are gone.
A 20th,
people
maybe?
have lost their livelihoods. They've lost their homes. They've lost their businesses. this piece of shit didn't do anything for anybody but himself. And I'm telling you this again, not because I am anti-Trump, but I'm also anti-Kamala.
I'm voting for Carlin, I'm telling you. Just to write in George Carlin's name.
This is in response to a dumb, unintelligent piece of shit responding to a post questioning Donald Trump by trying to interject, oh, but you have to tell us what Kamala did. No, Kamala, that's a completely different piece of shit argument.
Well, yeah, you gotta angle it around sideways.
My wife is going to be asking me later on why I was screaming so loud.
Yeah, I've used the word retard, I'm sure, over the years.
When I was a kid, I used to call my friend retard all the time in a
I don't think I've ever done it on Twitter. I'd have to search myself to know, but I don't think I have. I don't see a reason to.
Yeah.
And to do it to our friend makes it just all that much worse to me.
And God love her, Skip came in and she essentially just said what I just said. I wasn't talking about Harris. I was talking about what happened to my business. Some of it happened when Trump was POTUS. I've done more for THR than he has. We don't use the R word around here. It's cruel and stigmatizing. Glad to talk politics when you can be decent. And then Janine says classy.
There you go. Yeah.
Now, Dave, I'm not going to throw all the Trump followers under the bus. I'm not doing that. But guess what, boys and girls? And I've said this 100 times. It doesn't matter what Trump says that he's going to do for anybody, because all he's doing is trying to pander and get people to vote for him. And guess what? Whether there's 20 million people in the United States that vape or whatever the fucking number is, half of them aren't going to vote for Trump no matter what he does. Because guess what? No matter how important vaping is to people,
other things are more important.
There are things that other people find more important, and that Trump is standing on the wrong side of those things.
And I'll tell you, Patrick, honestly, that and I don't use the word honestly without meaning that you've changed my mind on the perception of that, because I think you're right. And I don't know about our audience, but you have mentioned if somebody's a gun owner or gay or whatever the cause is, doesn't matter. If you're more against
Haitian
something, pardon?
Do you think any Haitian voter is going to vote for Donald Trump now?
Right. It can be any number. It could be a list of things now that you go, oh, yeah, fuck him. I don't care about my vaping so much as I do about this, whatever this is.
So everybody's going to say, well, you know what? Even if Donald Trump doesn't get elected because he said he's going to say vaping, the black market will still be there, and I'll still be able to get my vaping products.
Right.
Now, but I'm not going to vote for that piece of shit. Is what a lot of gay, black, Hispanic, strong women, liberated women aren't voting for him. There are so many different things that people have. Women that want to have an abortion. Not that I agree that people should have abortions. I think there should be a very limited number of reasons why. And that's my opinion, and I'm allowed to have it. But those women aren't voting for him either.
Right. So the other point of this to me is I retweeted VTA earlier. I saw the thing that where he, I don't know if you were covering that specifically or not, but they spoke with, or Tony spoke with Trump.
Yeah.
This is twice he's been in front of the man. Right. So that's pretty admirable, but how it came about, I don't know. And it doesn't matter at the moment. And some people may go, well, gee, Kevin, why would you retweet that? Well, because I still want the issue brought front and center.
On a personal level, I like Tony.
That's it. Well, yeah, I enjoyed it.
I think it's a feather in his cap that he got to meet a presidential candidate.
Lord,
whether I like the presidential candidate or not, I don't like either one of the options that we have available to us, Kevin.
Neither.
I mean, I can name off 100 different reasons why not to vote for Kamala, and probably 100 reasons why not to vote for Donald.
I'm sad that this is all we got. This is it. This is the choices we have.
This is a sad shape of politics in
insane.
America today, Kevin, that we have two
So-
shitty options.
So, like other things, for instance, donating to a cause as an example, I won't go any further. I retweeted it to get them, not necessarily to get somebody to donate quite some time ago, but to get that in your face so you'll see it and others may see it and go, what's that about? Not necessarily that you're going to donate. So in this vein, I'm glad he talked to President Trump. I'm glad it was brought up. I'm glad it's in the news, well, on Twitter at least. But that doesn't mean it's going to work.
There were quite a few news pieces today also regurgitating.
Well, good. Then it worked. Okay. That's what I want.
You know, this message just goes to Bill Clay, Kevin. No matter
well,
how
he can kiss my
hard
ass.
now, no matter how hard you say bad things to people on the internet today about this or about anything related to Donald Trump, he is not going to kiss you on the mouth after he fucks you up the ass. That's
Well,
all
no,
I'm
of course
saying.
not.
No matter how much you beg for Daddy Donald to do that for you.
Well,
just get that in your head right now. He
I'd love
doesn't
to
give a
end-
shit about you.
Let me know when you're done with this boy here.
I'm done.
You're done. I would like to commend Skip for literally using her hashtag be kind, because I just don't know that I would have been able to do that. And I kind of admire you for not being a complete cocksucker.
I was not.
As a footnote.
I saved up the bad language for this.
But Skip, in true form, as she preaches, she practices. And God love her. I love her to death, and she knows that.
I
Cranky
invite
broad she is.
everyone that wants to.
Oh yeah, I can't stop you from fucking with a guy. Just do what you want.
Go and say hi to Bill. That's all I'm saying.
Go and say hi to Bill. Did you link the tweet in the thing?
It's in the show notes.
Well, it can't be too difficult to find then.
If you go to, I just showed you how to go and find it from my profile as well, right on screen. You see how I did that, Kevin? But here we got another one here. This is from the Button Law Firm.
Oh,
It says,
well, thank goodness.
Incidents of toddlers accessing vape pens at daycare centers are becoming too common. Pediatricians say it only takes half a teaspoon of nicotine exposure from a vape pen to turn into a fatal incident for a young child.
Oh my God.
Learn more at Ambulance Chasers Are Us.
I was going to say, but I can't do that anymore. Janice will come in here, beat me about the head and face, and you guys won't recognize me.
How pissed were you last night?
Who? What?
My wife will later on. She'll be saying, "I heard you screaming all the way across the house, and you were not saying nice words."
Sometimes I'm curious as to how we're not both getting our ass kicked. Some nights. This is pretty calm, really. What's his name? Brad?
I did raise my
Brian?
voice at Bill.
Fucking Bill. Oh, Bill.
He harshed my calm. But yes, lots of people are really brave and say ugly things on the internet because they think they can get away with it. Nothing will ever happen.
I had what's your buddy's name? Turk. He had he said something. I muted him now, but
particular tweet about I knew you were all MAGA Republicans.
He said something about where's your work? Where have you been published or something? And it's my all in the wording thing. If you guys have ever seen it, I'm in like 5 different studies. I'm named in 5 different studies, or 6 or 7 or something. I've been published. My survey and other things have been published in different things. I think it was like 8 or 9.
I mean, I could be a jerk, Kevin, and you know,
I know who I am.
Mention all of the different like magazines that when I ran the art studio that I had my hand in participating in publishing those, and then obviously the vaping magazines I've been published in those, but I wouldn't do that.
And Dale, I think it was you. I don't know for sure. He asked me that, and somebody said he's really hard to. I said I'm not hiding. Here's who, whatever. And then he said, I don't know if it was Dale or not, but somebody put my link on my for my bio on my blog. It's there. I am.
So Bastard says,
Dumbass.
looking at this from outside the U.S., it seems obvious the orange comb-over's first task will be to pardon himself. So this is what's going to happen. Yes, you are correct. If he is to get elected, and it appears to be quite close. If he gets elected, all he's going to do is he's going to do a presser. He's going to get on and say, you know what, boys and girls, I'm not admitting any guilt, but to save the federal government resources on any future prosecutions for all this stuff that I supposedly did that I didn't do, I'm just going to give myself a blanket pardon for previous crimes so that we can save money. And all the people that love him are going to say that, oh, well, he's such a good man. He's saving the taxpayers' money by preventing his enemies from prosecuting him because
that's right.
That's what they're going to do. And then all the people that hate him are just going to say, look, see, he's just,
So look, see, looky here, see.
Yeah. So Kevin, several times over the last few years, Steve Forbes has gone to bat for the vaping industry.
Yes, he has.
And for vapors. He's done multiple videos.
4? This is 3 or 4.
This is 4 or 5.
4 or 5?
I have to look on my hard drive. I have a bunch of them.
I won't fact check you. I'll trust you in this one. I thought it was
Bastard, I completely disagree with you about the Bernie thing. Bernie would be a source of destruction of the American society. And he's already said that if he was elected, that he would ban vaping. That was when he ran 12 years ago. He said that. So
not that the destruction of America is too far off. It's just that
it's pretty damn close. But he would be the last nail in the fucking coffin.
I can't imagine what everybody else out of the country is actually paying attention to this is thinking. Anyway. I'm speechless, and I'm rarely speechless about the election this year.
Yeah, Bernie is a huge fucking mess up. Yeah.
The war on vaping is a deadly example of modern socialism.
Now, I voted for Steve Forbes when he ran for president twice. I voted for him.
Anyway. I don't like the beginning wording of this.
Killing people.
Not sure if he did that.
Hello, I'm Steve Forbes, and this is What's Ahead, where you get the insights you need to better navigate these turbulent times. Vast experience has demonstrated that vaping is the most effective tool around for helping people get off of cigarettes. It is vastly more effective than gums or patches. Yet vaping remains in the crosshairs of the FDA, the CDC, the World Health Organization, and an endless pool of politicians.
So he just named the 3 alphabet groups that I hate the most.
He's got 3 points already in front of him.
Yeah.
It has wrongly been equated with cigarette smoking. Nothing could be further from the truth. What makes cigarettes so deadly is not nicotine, but rather the tars and other toxins and poisons that users inhale. E-cigarettes are 95% less harmful than traditional smokes. The nicotine gives users the pleasures of so-called combustible cigarettes without the poisons. Contrary to the anti-science attitudes of too many American health authorities, those in Britain actively encourage people trying to give up so-called cancer sticks to switch to vaping. With no real-world evidence, health poobahs here have hysterically cried that vaping is a gateway to regular cigarettes. They freaked out when teenage vaping soared for several years, ignoring that at the same time, youthful cigarette smoking was dropping sharply.
So again, if there was a gateway, Kevin, if e-cigarette use was going up, wouldn't combustible cigarettes at a later point also be going up?
Well, you see, even the scientists are confused about science there, Patrick. We're at point number 9 so far, by the way, folks, just in case you're not counting my dings. 9.
Overall nicotine use went down slightly. Now the teenage vaping fad is fading fast. The CDS's National Youth Tobacco Survey shows that the use of e-cigarettes by young people has plummeted 60% since 2019. Usage is at a 10-year low. Amazingly, less than 2% of young people are smokers. Yet despite all this evidence, the FDA and plenty of politicians act as if a deadly vaping crisis exists. The FDA won't approve flavored e-cigarettes. Even tobacco-flavored vapes, which users don't like, have trouble getting approval. No wonder almost all the e-cigarette sales today are illegal. The FDA destructively ignores our ugly experience with the prohibition of liquor over a century ago. Instead, the FDA still obsesses over the non-crisis of young people. Since getting people off of regular cigarettes is a massive lifesaver, the FDA should instead focus on aiding adults by approving flavored vaping products and encouraging their use. This would save literally hundreds of thousands of lives in the years ahead. Instead, the FDA is practicing modern socialism, whereby government doesn't take over industries, but rather employs extensive, intrusive regulations as the means to control businesses and people. It won't ban vaping, but it kills it by regulation. Of course, this means black markets and products that may be of dubious safety and quality. Fortunately, the Constitution and the rule of law are not yet dead in the U.S. An appeals court recently ruled that the FDA's decision-making process here is capricious and arbitrary. The issue is headed to the Supreme Court, and may the Supremes send the FDA's behavior up in smoke. I'm Steve Forbes. Thanks for listening. Do send in your comments and suggestions. I look forward to being with you soon again.
Can you imagine, Patrick? What's he worth? A gazillion?
Oh,
couple bazillion? He's got people telling him
money. He's got money. I wish he would give us a half of what Bloomberg spends.
Yeah. I'm stunned at how quickly the man can put together about a 3.5 minute talk and be knowledgeable and articulate and correct with the staff that he employs. They found all that shit for him to just nuzzle down to 3.5 minutes to explain to the public the bullshit that's going on. Yet you got Big Bry over there, who's clearly an epidemiologist. He knows everything, and he hasn't figured it out yet. I'm cautiously optimistic about Big Bry.
But
what say you, Zippy?
So I got to go back to Bastard again. He says we want Bernie, if only to. You know what would happen if Bernie Sanders was elected president?
I don't know what.
I mean, on an international on the international stage,
yeah,
like Putin would invade every country adjacent to Russia.
Is it every? Okay.
He would invade every, because
would I have to learn?
Nobody's afraid of Bernie,
right? No,
like nobody. Putin would just invade every fucking country adjacent to them and say, "We're taking back all of our old shit." And he would be confident that nothing would happen because Bernie would be like, "Well, we gotta really." No. Nobody no other world leader would respect him because he has nothing. Nobody would. They would just walk all over him.
Yeah.
He has no experience on international relations at all.
We wouldn't have to speak another language, though, would we?
Well,
I'm old. I don't want to learn.
I'm just talking about immediately all the buffer zone states that are between NATO and him.
Yeah, the outside.
Like he did Ukraine. He'd just do that to all the other fucking countries. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it would be ridiculous. It would be awful. It would be awful. No. But anyway, Kev, we have a couple pieces to go talk about on Rumble.
Oh, the Rumbles.
And then you can go to bed. But
I gotta go to bed. Yeah.
I have four pieces. Four pieces.
Kid coming to watch me in the morning. I got to be awake, alert, and alive.
While you're asleep, he might smother you or something if you're not awake.
No, he comes in and says, "Papa, wake up!" He stomped on me last week. He climbed all over me.
That's what I'm saying. He'd kill you in your
Scared the
sleep.
crap out of me in my sleep.
Give you a coronary.
Janice just said, "Go get him."
She did. She set you up, man. She set you up.
Of course she did.
She set you up. But you can go get your coffee and pee or whatever it is you need to do. I'll play a video.
Old man problems.
Let me find a video to play.
Fine. We love you if you're not coming over.
And then we will be over there. I'm
And
not
good night,
playing
Skip.
that one.
We love you.
Skip's
All
already
of you.
gone. She's
Every
she's
one
gonna be
of you. She'll be back. and
waking
she'll
up in
hear
2
it.
hours or so. Just to,
She'll hear it eventually. She keeps an eye on us, probably more than we know.
yeah. Okay,
Deservedly.
This one's 3 minutes long, Kevin.
All right, fine.
We'll be back in 3 minutes or so. Love you guys. We'll see you in Rumble.
I will not show my independence, and I will not be making my own decisions. In 2009, a bipartisan Congress created the Center for Tobacco Products at the FDA, and then the president signed us into law. And no, the fact that Congress and the president agreed on something is not what was historic. It was that for the first time ever, FDA, since the time we were established in 1906, we're really the gold standard agency to make sure that every product you put on or in your body is safe and effective.
Bullshit.
The FDA is expanding a recall of a popular blood pressure drug over concern it may contain an unwanted ingredient that can cause cancer.
Tonight, for people on medication to treat high blood pressure, the Food and Drug Administration is recalling several drugs that contain an ingredient, valsartan. That drug includes an agent that could cause cancer.
Pfizer recalls its popular anti-smoking drug Chantix over a possible cancer risk.
The recall was secondary to some unknown quantities of a chemical called NMDA. We do know that it can cause direct liver injury.
Now to the Food and Drug Administration and to questions of regulation. The salmonella outbreak and the major egg recall have raised questions once again about whether an agency charged with regulating drugs and food can adequately do its job.
I can share that, at least from where FDA's perspective is, we would prefer to not have kids on the continuum of risk, if at all possible. But we recognize that's not possible because kids are kids, and there's many, many, many reasons why they choose to do different types of things. If we get asked a specific question by a teen, either direct message